couple seconds.
At right guard, number 57, Daniel Sanchez. And at right tackle, number 60, Adrian Armendariz. The officials for tonight's game have been selected and assigned according to the procedures adopted by the California Interscholastic Federation.
Okay, ready? Ready.
The officials for tonight's game. Referee.
And we are live here at A.B. Miller High School, Bruce Richardson Stadium, for a CBL matchup between two bottom-tier teams in the CBL. Redlands High School taking on the A.B. Miller Rebels. The Redlands High School coming into the game 2-6, coming off that first CBL win against Eisenhower last week. And this time they're facing the 0-6 A.B. Miller Rebels, coming in not doing too well so far for the CBL, their last place right now. Bradford Evans and Vinny Fazio have the call with you tonight. Vinny, how's it going tonight? You ready for some football?
It's going great, man. This is beautiful. It's got an old school CBL feel, you know, harken back to the Jim Walker, Miguel Almeida, John Tyree, you know, Jeff Steinberg days, A.B. Miller versus Redlands. You know, a series that's really meant something, and maybe the last time these teams will play for a while.
For a very long time.
Yes. A.B. Miller leaving the CBL at the end of this year. Next year they'll go into the Mountain Valley League. And Redlands, of course, staying in the CBL. So this could be the last time these two teams see each other for quite a long time. And a lot of guys out for Miller tonight. So the guys that are in, the young guys, are going to have to scrap, try to keep them in the game.
And one guy to keep your eye on if you're an A.B. Miller Rebel fan is quarterback Cody Castaneda. I talked to Sean Moore a little bit, who played at Kaiser for Dick Bruick. You also played for Dick Bruick. And he was just mentioning that he's a sophomore, young player, but he's talented. So we'll see what he has to do. And I caught up a little bit early as well with Coach Coy Glass of Redlands High School, the defensive coordinator, and he was saying we're going to see what they have to offer, and if he's rattled at all, we're going to bring the pressure.
Well, you know, young quarterback, that hasn't played a ton, and so it'll be interesting to see what he can do against a tough physical defense.
Yeah. So A.B. Miller, Division 11, and Redlands, Division 5. We're going to take a moment for the Pledge of Allegiance here. Well, that was the pledge, or the national anthem of the United States of America, and we are ready for some football coming up momentarily. The main storyline for today is that both these teams, yes, they have a bad record, Vinny, but both have an opportunity to make the playoffs if they win out. So an important matchup for Redlands coming in Division 5 and A.B. Miller Division 11. Sean Moore was talking to me a little bit, saying that Division 11 is kind of funky, and they definitely do have a chance to get in with those two wins, one against Vista del Lago and the other against Paris, who are both winless on the season.
Yeah, the lower divisions, it's a little bit harder the way that the CIF system works now, but Redlands not in a terrible position. You know, if Redlands can win out, even if they end up finishing fifth place in the CBL, fifth place gives them a chance, to get into the playoffs. And once you're in Division 5, you never know. Redlands is a team that has some talent. They're not without talent. But certainly they're going to have to play up to their capability. They've had a couple of really close losses. Tough loss to Carter, tough loss to Chaparral. Those are good teams. Played Rev really tough. So this is a team that has played some people tough and had been in games. Just haven't figured out how to win those games yet. And so it'll be interesting to see tonight. Now, you're pretty close to the end, Game 9. It'd be interesting to see if they've learned some lessons from those close losses going forward.
Yeah, Derek Dial taking over for Jim Walker on an interim basis, but he's hoping to stay here for long term. And if he is to stay here for long term, he has to win these 2 games, this one against A.B. Miller and the other one against Citrus Valley, 2 really important matchups. And if they do win, they'll likely face Paraclete in Division 5, and we all know Paraclete's a really good team.
And really far too.
Yeah, so
and that's
he wasn't too happy about it, but he wants to play another week.
Well, absolutely. If you can get in, you want to get in. It's a chance to play, and even if I've coached years where you get in the playoffs and you're playing the number 1 seed or the number 2 seed, and you kind of just treat it like a bowl game. It's a chance to get young guys extra week of practice and get better and reward your seniors for a great season. So. Redlands still in the mix. They've got to win their last 2. They've definitely got to win that Citrus Valley game. The Citrus Valley game is really a circle game for them. Citrus Valley played really well early, has planed off, lately. And so if Redlands can get through tonight, which with Miller's injuries, you would think that Redlands would have a good chance tonight. If Redlands can get through tonight, then next week becomes just a mammoth game in the city of Redlands, with one of those teams having a chance to get in and the other one probably being out.
Yeah, if you're Redlands, lots at stake in this game, and they've had a really tough non-conference schedule, as you touched on a little bit earlier, and Di was saying, maybe that's what the committee will look into take into effect. They beat Palm Springs 14-6, lost to Murrieta Valley 49-13, Chaparral 24-13. So those are not bad teams. None of those teams are slouches.
Well, I'm an expert on the playoff selection because I've been shafted on it a couple times. So I know a lot about playoff selection, and the main criteria that they look at is strength of schedule.
And they
so
definitely
Redlands
have that.
will have a strong strength of schedule. Now, the problem for Redlands is one of the other main criteria is your finish in your league. And so if you don't finish in that 4th place, then it's much harder. So, again, if they can beat A.B. Miller tonight, if they can get a win against Citrus Valley, have a chance to finish 5th, maybe 4th in the league, you would think a 4th-place team out of the CBL definitely going to be in. A 5th-place team out of the CBL in those higher divisions where there aren't that many teams. I mean, there aren't that many teams in Division
18.
1, 2, 3, 4. It's a small division, so not that many people are out. Most teams are in. And if they can win a couple games, they might have a chance.
So before we head for kickoff, let's take a moment to thank our sponsors. We're going to start with Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. You'll be spoiled by their excellent customer service and great prices. Check them out off Alessandra Boulevard. And Ken's Sporting Goods. Ken's Sporting Goods, more than 40 years Inland Empire, taking care of all your sports good needs, plus Letterman's Jackets. Don't forget this Saturday, Vinny, at 11 a.m., you can meet a couple of Charger girls at Ken's Sporting Goods. Check out kensportinggoods.com.
Yeah, take advantage of that opportunity, right?
How soon are you going to meet some
couple
Charger
of local
girls
too, right?
Santiago girl and
yeah.
another Corona girl as well. So
City of Corona, man, that's a big recruiting tool for the city of Corona.
Absolutely,
got Charger girls coming out of there
on many fronts. So Boost Performance Training. Athletes of all levels need to check out Boost Performance Training in Corona. Whether you are playing youth sports or trying to get a college scholarship, Boost helps you achieve your goals. Check out boosttrainingsystems.com. And finally, Catalano Motors in Corona off Temescal Canyon Road. Go to Catalano Motors for a new-to-you car, truck, or SUV. Stepping onto a car lot can be uncomfortable, but it doesn't have to be. Buying a car easy. Visit Catalano Motors. Website is catalanocars.com. As we head for the kickoff here momentarily, should be a good one. A bottom seller duel between 2 CBL teams that are desperate for wins here, and we'll see what they have to offer. Redlands to receive. They're going left to right on your radio dial, and A.B. Miller will be going right to left.
A lot of ones back there deep. Looks like 11, Jacoby James, and 1, Isaiah Myers, are the 2 deep guys for Redlands.
Yeah, Isaiah Myers touched on it earlier when I was talking to some of the coaches. He is a guy who thrives off of confidence. He's been playing very well these past 2 games. Got a pick 6 against Eisenhower last week, so he's hoping to ride that confidence. He's a slot guy. He's a cornerback as well, so he's a dangerous player for this team, one of the only juniors on this team. And number 85 for A.B. Miller kicking. And we don't have a number 85 on our roster.
He's new.
He's a new guy. Sometimes you have to recruit when you can, especially with those kickers.
This happens to me and Pep all the time, man.
And it's a low, narrow kick
game.
collected, bobbled by the Redlands Terrier player. And
he's
that's
got a
Jacoby
lane.
James running. He cuts outside to the far right. He might break that one for a big gain. He's on the opponent's 40, the 30 now. A huge gain for this Redlands Terriers receiving team. Good play there, good blocking up front.
Yeah, they really blocked it well. There was a big lane there, and kind of bobbled the ball. And sometimes that's the best thing that can happen for you as a kick return team. James picked it up and found the lane, and then got up the sidelines. Good job.
Yep.
Good job by A.B. Miller's kicker and safety of getting there, making sure it wasn't a touchdown, and at least giving their defense a chance
Just
to
making
defend
sure
some
to
field.
seal that gap off. And the A.B. Miller defense is out. Redlands defense coming in, Redlands offense coming in, led by Chris Aguilar. Chris Aguilar, senior, converted linebacker, playing some quarterback. They didn't have a quarterback after graduation of their last quarterback last year. So Aguilar, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 1,400 yards. So he can sling it for playing it his first year.
Yeah, absolutely. And Redlands has had a tradition of good quarterbacks. You know, the last few years, their quarterback play has been really, really good.
2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. Brian Landon in the slot here. Taking it from the gun. Landon goes in motion. They hand it off to him, but he decides to throw. He throws that one. He's wide open, and that's a touchdown there to Adam McLeod. Adam McLeod, their rebounding guy, their big dude, gets it there off the nice throw. And GT Tessitore, the offensive coordinator, said they're going to run a lot of stuff with Brian Landon. Brian Landon can do a little bit of everything here, and that makes it 6-0 here with the kick team coming out to get the extra point.
Boy, a little trickery to start the game, you know, with the little fly pass, handed the ball to Landon on the fly, took a couple steps, and then pulled up and threw it. The A.B. Miller corner filled like he was going to tackle the fly, and there was nobody in the deep zone. Guys wide open.
So Redlands kicking the extra point here. Snap is good. Kick is good, making it 7-0 in favor of the Redlands Terriers early. 11:43 remaining in the game.
And here's
Not
one
the way
thing
you
I
wanna
like.
start out.
Here's one thing I like from A.B. Miller on that play. Carlo Morales, a play that won't go in the stat book, but came hard, rushed hard on that kick. And sometimes after you give up a big play, you know, the temptation is to kind of hang your head and be sad, but he didn't. Came hard, tried to block the kick, and you never know when that 1 point will make a difference. And even if it doesn't, you just want to keep playing. You always want to keep playing and keep playing hard and keep giving it your best. And great effort there by Morales trying to block that kick.
And it is senior night, so some of these players playing their last home game at A.B. Miller, emotional times. Might not be where you want to be in the standings, but you still want to give it your all here. And Redlands to kick here. Number 21 to kick it, Donovan Navarro.
It looks like Julian Kennedy and my guy, Morales, who just tried to block that kick, are the deep guys for Miller.
And that's a squib kick. It almost looked like an onside kick there, but it went through. A.B. Miller gets it. Number 17 over on the far right line, bringing it up. Of course, Miller going from right to left here.
And 17 is David Morales, and that's probably not the guy you want to kick it to. He's a guy that touches the ball a lot for him, carries the ball as a running back, catches the ball as a receiver. He's a little guy, but he's a guy that's got some talent. You could see dragged a few tacklers there. You know, just the undersized, you know, slot receiver running back, but a good carry, and they're out to the 40-yard line.
It's not the size of the dog; it's the size of the fight in the dog.
Hey, you got it, baby.
So Redlands has their defense out, just standing around here waiting for the huddle to break for A.B. Miller. And we'll see if they go with a little up-tempo or if they keep it slow here. Coach Sean Moore really says he's going to keep it balanced. He wants to take the shots when they're available, but he wants to play conservative as well. And Cody Castaneda from the gun here, running back in the backfield. He hikes and looks like it's going to be encroachment.
Yeah, a lot of
Or is it
movement.
a false start. There's a lot of movement on the line.
That's always a questionable call, you know, because it looked like maybe the defense might have drawn the offensive line off, and technically they're not allowed to do that. If the defense moves, it should be against the defense. But when you have 2 or 3 offensive guys move, it's almost always you're never going to get that call, you know. And so they don't get the call. 5 yards back, 1st and 15.
1st and 15 here. Cody Castaneda from the gun again with Morales behind him. He hands off to Morales. Morales skirts up the middle, but he's brought down by that impressive defensive front from Redlands, number 71, Sean Nim, on the plate.
And the guy you got to look out for Redlands defense is Zach Barola. You know, that guy's all over the place, and seems like he's been there forever. He's like on the Tommy Frazier.
Oh,
remember Tommy Frazier from Nebraska? Seems like Zach Barola's on that
He's
plan,
one of those
man.
guys that just stays there.
He's like a 7-year senior, and he's been good every year. He's a stud.
He's averaging 14.6 tackles this season, 102 tackles on the season for total. So Barola is a player here. And the ball is scrambled to the right. They run it, though. for no gain on the play. 3rd and 13 coming up, 10:52 remaining, 7-0. Redlands leads.
Yeah, they tried to run a little stretch play. It looked like there might have been something there, but pretty good job closing the gap by Tristan Ordaz, the other inside linebacker for Redlands. And when you play alongside Barola, you're always the other inside linebacker. But Tristan Ordaz, no slouch, and that was a pretty good job by him running down the line, getting inside through, and making the tackle, and now it's 3rd and long.
Yeah, Derek Dial was also saying that outside linebackers is a problem for this Redlands team. Zachary Ring outside, and they're going to have to rely on those interior linebackers. Ball is snapped over to the right. It's incomplete, or over to the left, pardon me. Incomplete here, and it'll be 4th and 13. The punt team comes out.
Yeah, it looked like it was just going to be a quick out route there. Try to get an easy first throw there for Castaneda. You never want your first throw to be on 3rd and 13. But try to get an easy throw for him. He's not a really big guy, just a young guy. D-line got their hands up, batted the ball down. And as a young quarterback, one thing he'll learn is when you're undersized, you have to find throwing lanes. You can't just, it's not like 7-on-7 where you can just throw it wherever you want. You have to find the lane where the guy's hand won't be up.
And the ball is punted. It's a really bad punt there. Goes for about 10 yards, if that.
It's going to be right at the line.
It'll be at the 42-yard line for Redlands. So good field position to start this drive, and definitely not the start you want if you're an A.B. Miller fan.
You can do a lot of football games and hardly ever see a ball punted right back to the original line of scrimmage. Like the guy didn't even have to move the box. It's right in the exact same place that it was. I've watched a lot of football now in my life, and I don't know that I've ever seen the ball go to the exact same place where it was before. Down box didn't even have to move.
So the Redlands Terriers take the ball over at the 42-yard line with Chris Aguilar going from the gun. They keep it he never takes it from under center, as far as I've seen so far. And number 2 is back in the backfield.
Barola, baby.
Zach Barola, all-purpose player, plays tight end, middle linebacker. Barola here rumbles over to the right-hand side, gets a block. Nice block by Brian Landon, and he gets it all the way to the 20-yard line. So a big run there by the big bruising running back, Zach Barola.
So Zach Barola's really good. He looked really good on that carry.
If you didn't know, Zach Barola is legit.
Holy smoke, he looked good on that carry. I mean, you don't think of him as that kind of guy, but he looked good taking the handoff, got his shoulders rolled square. That was a great run.
And Brian Landon with a pancake block there. He just knocked over his defender.
You're a Redlands guy. Reminds you of Zach Colaros. You remember Zach Colaros?
I actually don't. That was before my time.
Oh, yeah, Zach Colaros, man. I played against him. That was a Zach Colaros looking run right there.
Aguilar motions Myers. Myers takes it off the sweep. Now Myers might get a block. He cuts inside, jumps out, and he's tackled by a host of A.B. Miller players. Number 6, Donovan Rowe, on the play. Or Davian Moore, pardon me.
Good play by Donald Castillo as the inside linebacker running down. They did a pretty good job setting the edge. That looked like Morales, who set the edge, made the ball turn back inside, didn't let the fly sweep run around, and then a pretty good job by Castillo coming from the inside out to make the tackle.
Ball on the 5-yard line, 9:18 remaining, 7-0. Redlands is leading, and it's on the far hash here. Taking a while to snap the ball here. There's Aguilar. Aguilar snaps it, throws to the slot, and he gets it. He catches it, and that's Isaiah Myers. Isaiah Myers coming off of 2 really good games, had a pick 6 on defense, here showing what he can do on offense, and that's a guy that they really want to go to is Isaiah Myers in the slot.
Well, you can see why. That's a hard play to make for a slot receiver because you don't know if that safety's bearing down on you or not. Maybe Miller playing a little cover 3 look. Safety bearing down on him, and he makes a catch, kind of makes a little stutter step move. Safety goes right by, walk right into the end zone. That's a nice-looking play by Myers.
Kicking team is out for the extra point after that Isaiah Myers score, and it's kicked and good, making it 14-0 in favor of Redlands. Slow start here for the A.B. Miller Rebels, but they're looking to get on track here in their second time having the ball.
Yeah, and it's a struggle. When you got guys out, you're playing guys in unfamiliar positions. You're playing guys that haven't played a lot of football, that have been playing in the JV games, and now all of a sudden they're playing in the varsity games, and it's hard, and A.B. Miller's going to have to fight through this. They're going to have to find a way to get some first downs, keep their defense off the field. Right now, Redlands doing whatever they want offensively, so Miller's offense is going to have to kind of counter this and be able to get some first downs, keep that defense on the sideline.
And, Vinny, I know it's early, but how long would you wait till you start trying to air it out here if you're Cody Castaneda Castaneda.
Well,
Yes,
there's
he's a young player.
You know, there's two things, though, two schools of thought about that. I mean, the more you throw it, if you're not throwing complete, you know, first of all, you risk turning the ball over, and second of all, you're not running the clock. So you need to be able to run the football. You know, you cannot give up on the run, even if you fall behind. You know, in a game where you're trying to kind of pull an upset, you've got to be able to run the football and establish a run.
Arenas kicks it, and he kicks a line drive, reaches the second row of players received, brought all the way to the 41-yard line. So good field position for A.B. Miller.
Yeah, that's David Morales. Again, they probably should rethink that. They're kicking the ball right to, you know, one of Miller's best guys. David Morales is a good player, and they're kicking it right to him. They're giving up great field position every time. You know, you might want to think about trying to kick the ball a little deeper or kick it away. But so far, you know, their defense has been able to kind of bail them out of that.
So A.B. Miller will take over and their own 41-yard line here. 14-0 is the score. 8:51 remaining. Redlands leads, and the long blue line looking good so far here.
Looks like A.B. Miller with 3 receivers down to the left side of the field.
They put Kennedy in motion in the slot. They motion him back over to the far hash. Kennedy with Castaneda taking from the gun. And he's staring down his receiver. He looks out, buys some time, scrambles, and gets a 4-yard gain on the play. Nice job by Castaneda.
Yeah, pretty good athletic play there by Castaneda. One thing you got to work on with young quarterbacks is sometimes they have a tendency to want to look at the rush. You can't look at the rush. You got to keep your eyes downfield because you're not going to be able to throw it if you're looking at the rush.
So the ball is at the 46-yard line.
This is a young offensive line for Miller, too. That's the other thing.
Second down and 10, or first and 10, pardon me. And Castaneda goes with the play action over to his running back 21, Morales. And the ball is got to about the 49.5-yard line, maybe the 50. So, yep, 49-yard line there for the A.B. Millers. And looking good so far on this young drive. Castaneda hands it off again to Morales. Morales breaks it for a big gain. He cuts outside, jukes the defender. Deli's brought down. And he is well within Redlands territory here. Now he's on the Terriers' 38-yard line.
You know, Carlo Morales has some talent. You know, that was a nice little jump cut sidestep. He's only a young player. He's only a sophomore. This guy's got a chance now. He's little, you know, and so we'll see how he holds up against these big kind of berserker Redlands linebackers. But so far, he's having some success in there.
And the blitz is coming inside. They pick it up well. Castaneda has time. It's knocked down, though, by number 76, that being Brad Godwin.
Yeah, that's twice. That's kind of been the same thing. They were trying to throw the little out route down to their own sideline, their own side of the field, and Castaneda's just not able to get the ball over Godwin. Godwin's tall, Castaneda's short. You know, he's going to have to learn as he grows. He's going to have to learn that he's got to find a throwing lane. He's not going to be able to just throw it through that guy's
Kennedy
hand.
comes in motion, runs behind Castaneda. Castaneda's sacked in the back. He's hit for a tackle for loss by number 2.
Well, that's Barola,
Zach
baby.
Barola again.
Yeah, it's always Barola. You know, it looked like they were trying to run some motion and get a little maybe like zone read option kind of action going on, get that third back to run the option, but Barola just sniffed it out. Came flying downhill, and by the time the pitch got there, Barola was already there waiting to make the tackle.
So it's 3rd and 17, ball on the 46-yard line of the Terriers. 2 wide receivers to the right, 2 to the left. 1 back in the backfield. Castaneda is sacked. Oh, a monster sack, but they're going to call a flag here. That was number 68, Cameron Marriott.
It looks
Let's
like
see
this
what they
might
have.
be
There's
helmet
laundry on the play.
Yeah, it
Maybe.
looks like it might be helmet contact.
He absolutely massacred him there on that sack, but
that's a really tough call. I mean, you know, you're trying to play. Castaneda is a shorter player. That's a really tough call against a defensive player there, but there was helmet contact, you know, and they are trying to work that out of the game.
And that's such a difficult thing to do because how do you reteach tackling if that's what you've learned your entire life?
Well, that one's a tough one. I
Yeah.
mean, that one's really a tough one. I get what they're trying to do. I get they're trying to protect guys, and that's a noble effort. But that one's a tough call. The quarterback was kind of looking at him. He wasn't defenseless. You know, I understand they want to protect guys, and that's the right thing to do. But boy, that's a tough call against Redlands.
So Castaneda and company take it over at the 40-yard line of Redlands. 14-0 game here. Redlands leads. A.B. Miller threatening here. Morales in the backfield. Kennedy in the slot. And Rojas, they're actually going to advance it even more to the 36-yard line, it looks like. We'll see what the ref has to do.
Yeah, I don't think they're 100% sure yet.
Yeah, it looked like it was a little bit too short.
They marked it off, and then they remarked it, and then they were going to mark it again, and now we're having a discussion. The dreaded officials discussion. We want to try to limit these as much as we can.
And sometimes you get lucky and you don't have many flags, and other times it's just the game lasts for
Well, we haven't had a lot of flags.
No.
I mean, they've really officiated a pretty good game
so
far.
Advanced.
It's early, but
Vinny, they're advancing it even more here. It's going to be
this is
the
like a
Redlands
25-yard
28,
penalty.
Yeah, it is. So I don't know. There must have been an extra penalty here. And the ball is at the Redlands Terriers' 28-yard
It looks like
line.
Coach Dial's asking the same questions you are right now.
Yeah, well, we don't know. We just called a game. And Castaneda with Morales in the backfield. Motion from Kennedy coming over from the left, and they run the same play they ran a few plays ago. But it's a trick play.
Wide open.
Rojas with the play, catches it there. They had the defense completely fooled. McLeod bit, and there's a touchdown for the A.B. Miller Rebels thanks to a little bit of trickery.
Really the same play, very similar play to the one that Redlands ran for a touchdown with Langdon throwing off the fly sweep. This was a harken back to the little speed option they tried to run earlier where Barola made the tackle in the backfield. Turns out that play was just setting up this play.
Anything you can do, I can do better, right?
Hey, and so that was executed extremely well. Kennedy throwing the ball, who actually played some quarterback for him earlier in the year, so you know he can throw. And they were wide open. Rojas was standing. He could have punted the ball down there. Rojas was totally wide open in the end zone.
Now the free safety bit hard, and the Redlands Terriers defense pays for it. Kick is up. Now it's bobbled, though, and that's not going to be extra points there. That's guess who? Zach Barola making the play, wreaking havoc in the backfield. It's a 14-6 ball game after the missed point attempt thanks to Redlands Terriers defense coming in and plugging up that play.
Zach Barola is very good.
He's very good.
I mean, I've seen a lot of guys. He's a very good player. I am very impressed by him. I know it's early, but, boy, he is everywhere where things are happening. He's very hard to block. He plays like a senior that's been playing for a really long time.
6 feet 219, really good player.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of –
not a prototypical linebacker, an NFL guy, but they're short guys that have gotten it done throughout the NFL and college all the time.
I don't know what kind of recruiting action he has, but he should have some. I mean, he's – if he's not a guy that can play, he could play for me. He could play anywhere I will. He's really good. So I hope that colleges are recruiting him. I've been extremely impressed by him so far in this game.
Yeah, 3 tackles so far and a nice run by Zach Barola. Barola just – everywhere tonight in a 14-6 ball game, 6:35 remaining in the first quarter, and the kickoff's coming for A.B. Miller on senior night.
Well, good for Miller. Now you're back in the game.
Interesting. And the ball is kicked far to the 10-yard line. They're going to return this one. Myers back to return, picks it up off the far hash, runs up the middle, catches the block, and he comes up the middle over the 50-yard line. And the kicker's there to stop him, number 20 and number 85 there to do the job. That was number 20, Giovanni Ramirez, making the play there, stopping a maybe touchdown.
Yeah, and Miller has not been very close to covering these kicks. I mean, on both kicks, there's just been giant lanes, and they've been able to run right through. So,
and if you're the coach, what do you do? What do you tell your team in that instance to seal that?
They're going to have to try to squib the ball or sky kick the ball or kick it out of bounds or do something, because kicking it deep and letting these guys return it, their kick coverage is a ways away from being able to make any plays right now.
So Aguilar and company take over a 14-6 ball game at the Rebels' 43-yard line with 2 receivers to the right. Motion from Myers, who caught the touchdown last time out. Runs. It's going to be a run play to number 7, Christian Diaz. Diaz rumbles up the middle, and he's still on his feet, fighting a few Rebel defenders. Number 56 taking him down there, Donald Castillo.
Yeah, 56 made some plays. Castillo's made a few plays. You know, he's been so far one of the more effective defensive guys. But just too much running room in there. You know, Miller playing a 3-man front, little 3-4 on defense, and right now Redlands is winning the battles up front and winning control of the line of scrimmage. A.B. Miller's going to have to start making some more plays in that defensive front.
Ball at the 38-yard line. Aguilar once again from the gun. Waiting for the snap, gets it, hands it off to Christian Diaz once again. Diaz gets a 5-yard gain. So moving the chain slowly but surely for the Redlands Terriers.
Yeah, Davion Moore, the other inside linebacker there on the tackle, and he's run around and made a few plays. But right now what's happening is the ball is getting through the first level too clean. And you got to make a play on the first level. You can't let the ball get to the second level as easy as it is. And right now the ball's getting to those second-level linebacker guys, and they haven't had to make any moves or get touched or anything. And that's a hard ask for your linebackers if they're going to have to do that the whole game.
Ball at the 25-yard line here, 14-6 game, 5:20 remaining, and Aguilar hits McLeod on the out route, on the quick out over to McLeod. McLeod can't be dragged down. Number 6 grabbing him by his feet, Davion Moore, and then the posse comes to knock him down, but not before he gets a first down.
There's several broken tackles on that play. It looked like they had him 2 or 3 times when I was ready to start analyzing the play, and all of a sudden he's still stepping through contact.
Davion Moore with a shoestring save there.
Pretty good athletic play, and looks like there's an A.B. Miller player down, and I think it might be Castillo, which would be a big blow for them defensively.
So let's take a moment to thank our sponsors once again. Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. You'll be spoiled by their excellent customer service and great prices. Check them out off of Alessandro Boulevard in Riverside. And none other than Ken's Sporting Goods. Ken's Sporting Goods, serving the Inland Empire for more than 40 years. Taking care of all your sport gear needs, plus Letterman's jackets. This Saturday, once again, we talked about it. You can meet a couple Charger girls at 11 a.m. if you go to Ken's Sporting Goods. Check out kensportinggoods.com. So back to the ball game here. Vinny Fazio and Bradford Evans on the call today with our Inland Sports live radio stream in a 14-6 ball game here. Player down for A.B. Miller in a 14-6 ball game, 5:09 remaining. What have you seen so far that you like from the Redlands Terriers offense?
Everything. I mean, really, they've done everything well offensively. They've run the ball very effectively. Their offensive line is winning battles against the A.B. Miller defensive front. They've thrown the ball well when they've had to. You open the game with a trick play that looked really good. So really offensively for Miller, or for the Redlands High guys, everything's been working. They've looked very effective. And now on the other side, Miller's moved the ball. They got a penalty on that first drive, and that knocked him back. And it's hard to convert when you got guys like Barola and those guys. It's hard to get a first down when you get put into those long yardage situations. But Miller's had some success. Morales has run the ball and been able to have a little success. They hit him with a trick play.
Yeah, Julian Kennedy making that throw.
Julian Kennedy on the throw. So A.B. Miller offensively has done some things. Remember, they're playing a lot of young guys. I mean, this offensive line is mostly sophomores and juniors, sophomore quarterback, sophomore running back. So they're playing some young guys, and they're a little bit of a baptism by fire against this veteran, Redlands High team, who's got a lot of guys that have played a lot of football.
Yeah, not the way the Redlands has wanted it to go so far this season, led by interim head coach Derek Dial. He's coached at Redlands High School for 8 seasons. This is his first year as a head coach. And so far, they're 2-6, looking for their second CBL win. A.B. Miller looking for their first. Both teams looking to make the playoffs here. And the Redlands offense comes back out on the field. Just a huddle from Aguilar, and the Miller defense is out, ready to go. And we will resume play here with 5 minutes remaining in the first quarter. 14-6 ball game. Aguilar looks to the sideline.
Now they got a couple guys lined up in weird places. Langdon's lined up at a wing spot. He's motioning across. Barola lined up at tight end here.
And the handoff goes over to Barola. Barola rumbles through into the end zone. Does he get it? Is he stopped at the 1-yard line? We're waiting for the official to give us a signal here. And they're going to say he's stopped at the 1-yard line.
And they put those guys over there to block. Those are 2 physical guys, and they put them over there to block, and they're able to get the edge. and down inside the 1 yard line. So now they're in 2nd and goal, and this ball is like nudging the goal line.
It's less than a yard for sure. Maybe a QB sneak coming. As we see Chris Aguilar lining up center, and he sneaks it in. Does he get it? Yes, he does. It's a touchdown for the Redlands Terriers, making it 20-6. Barring the extra point, it'll be 21-6 here. So Chris Aguilar lines up under center for the first time so far tonight, sneaks it in easily, and the Terriers take a 2-score lead.
Nice call, Coach. That's why they pay you the big bucks, man.
Hey, you're the coach here.
You're one for
watched
one.
A couple things.
You've called one play and it was a touchdown.
Well, you see how Tony Romo does that all the time, speaking of Thursday Night Football. I'm just trying to be like him. I learned a few things, I guess. Ball snapped, and it's kicked up. It's good. And 21-6 is the score with 4 minutes remaining in the first quarter here. Been a good one so far. Both teams scored. Both teams have showed some trickery. The Redlands Terriers scored off of that McLeod trick play where they scored from Brian Landon. They threw to Isaiah Myers, and they sneaked it in with Chris Aguilar getting his 10th touchdown on the season.
Yeah, and so far, A.B. Miller defensively has not been able to really put any pressure on Redlands. Redlands has been ahead of the chains the whole game. They've been in 2nd and really short. They've been, they haven't been in a 3rd down. They've been 2nd and short all the time, 2nd and manageable. So
if you're the defensive coordinator, Vinny, what do you do to change that? What do you do to get some pressure on them? Do you send more men? Do you just try to hope the line can do it?
Yeah, I think they're going to have to, they're going to have to take some chances. It doesn't look like they're going to be able to sit in base defenses. It looks like they're going to have to take some shots and take some chances and risk giving up big plays, but you can't let teams run for 9 and 10 yards over and over again.
Ball is kicked off over to the 8-yard line. It's in play and run back by Kennedy. Kennedy splitting over to the right side is wrapped up by a few Redlands players there. Ball goes to the 30-yard line, so not too catastrophic of a play for the Redlands special teams.
Yeah, kicked it deep this time, and gained themselves 11 or 12 yards of field position, so that's a first down now that Miller wasn't having to get before that now they'll have to get. So good adjustment there by Coach Dial. Notice that the short kick wasn't effective. Go to the deeper kick and let your kickoff team run down there and cover it.
And this Redlands team, they have many seniors, but they have a young coaching staff. The only guy that's really old is Coach Glass on this team. Every other guy's under 35, 40. So Miller motions number 17 out. That's David Morales to the left. And, the ball's fumbled. It's on the ground there, but it's kept up by Cody Castaneda, who recovers it, thankfully, for the A.B. Miller Rebels.
Looked like it was just going to be a zone run play, and Castaneda wasn't able to handle the snap clean, and so the snap got bobbled, and that messed up the timing, and then they kind of bumped into each other, and so, that all started from not a clean snap exchange, and so now you're not where you want to be for Miller. You don't want to be in these 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13s against this defense.
2nd and 12, it looks like trips on the far hash, motion from Morales, coming over to Brian Landon follows him on the defense, and he looks to pass, and he's sacked, and he fumbles there. Number 46 coming down with it, and that was, let's see who that was. That was number 46, Ryder Miller, making the play there for the Terriers, and it looks like they're going to come away with the ball there. What happened there that you saw, Vinny?
Well, it looked like a blitz, brought the strong safety off the edge. And again, Castaneda's a young player, and as he plays more, he's going to learn, hey, I got to have a clock in my head that tells me, hey, I'm, pump once, pump twice. There's nothing there. He's either got to throw the ball. I used to tell my quarterbacks, pick the prettiest girl in the stands and throw it to her. He's either got to throw the ball to her in the stands or he's got to take off running.
Hey, you might be able to get their number that way.
Yeah,
if you throw them
Coach,
the ball.
it's a great icebreaker tomorrow in school too. So, he's a young player, and he's learning, and a good hit and good play by Redlands, and now they're in good field position yet again.
So Christian Diaz in the backfield. Zach Barola and Diaz have formed a good tandem this season for the Redlands Terriers in a 21-6 ball game. Terriers take over on the 22-yard line. Play action from Aguilar. Aguilar rolls out to his right, throws it up, and it's caught by Jacoby James. Nice route, nice throw. Wow. It's going to be a touchdown here. Really nice play from the Redlands Terriers. executed perfectly.
That was an extraordinarily well executed play. What a great throw. He wasn't really that open. I mean, it was pretty good coverage by Donovan Ware. Was kind of in coverage in his hip pocket, and that ball was just thrown right where it had to be with some air and with some touch, and then a great job by James running under it and making the catch and tapping his feet in. That was a really good play by Redlands High.
And barring the extra point, it'll be 28-6 here in the first quarter, 3 minutes remaining. And there's a flag on the play. There was their motion up front. We'll see what they say. And they're going to say it was encroachment, I believe.
I'm always tempted on these encroachments if you're kicking the PAT to just decline them so you don't have to move it to a weird place.
Yes.
That way you're just kicking it from a regular. Now, I know Ken Batdorf, my guy from Norte Vista, if you go offsides, he's going to go for 2.
Oh, yeah.
He'll run the offense back on.
They run it all the time. There kicks up again, and it's good. Number 7, Christian Diaz on the hold. And it's a 28-6 game so far. 3 different receivers have scored for Redlands. Myers scored the second one. McLeod scored the first. And that third throwing touchdown was thrown to their guy, Jacoby James. Derek Dial said he wanted to get him involved often and early.
Yeah, they've done a nice job. I mean, offensively, Redlands has been, pretty much clockwork, right? They've done everything they've wanted to do. They've executed it well. And so now A.B. Miller's going to have to stand up and fight. You're kind of in one of those games now, it looks like maybe, where you're going to have to stand up and fight for yourself and play for pride and do that whole thing. And so if they're going to want to get some stops, it looks like Redlands is really clicking offensively. If they're going to want to get some stops, they're going to have to really fight back.
So the kick is up again. Donovan Navarro. Hopefully he can get a good kick again for the Redlands Terriers. Kicks it far again. It's going to hit the 10-yard line, maybe go out. No, it doesn't. Julian Kennedy gets it again, cuts over to his left. Kennedy finds a crease, and there's good blocking as well. He has real estate in front of him, but he's brought down by the Redlands Terriers once again. Good play there brought by number 36, Zachary Ring.
Well, Kennedy's got some scooch, man. I can see why they weren't super interested in kicking it to him. It looked like they had him kind of bottled in, and all of a sudden he turned on another gear and kind of ran around a couple guys. It looked like a video game.
He's one of their most athletic guys, and they rely on him heavily in the slot and in the running game and throwing game, obviously, as well. He's a bit of a jack of all trades, and it looks like he's a master of all as well.
Yeah, that was a nice job. He's thrown a touchdown, he's caught a pass, and he's returned a couple pretty good kicks.
So Morales and Castaneda in the backfield. Castaneda waiting the snap. Trips bunch on the far hash. Ball is snapped. Castaneda throws out to Rojas. Rojas catches it and runs a little bit before he's tackled by number 13. Number 13, Eddie Wirtz.
A pretty good throw there by Castaneda. Threw it on time, threw it away from the defender, and nice catch there by Rojas, and then pivoted back outside for a couple yards, and now they're in 2nd and 4. Much better place to be than 2nd and 13, 2nd and 12,
2nd and a mile, right? You don't want to be that. 2nd and 5 here, 28-6 ball game. And Castaneda waits the snap once more. Lots of movement from the Redlands defense, but they don't blitz. They throw it wide, far on the left, but Rojas is the intended receiver. Nobody can come down with it. Incompletion. Now it's 3rd and 5 here.
Tried to take a chance, tried to take a shot, 2nd and 4, tried to take a shot down the field, but really good coverage by Wirtz. He was over the top of everything. There was no chance on that ball, and so I'm not sure that wasn't a throwaway. He saw that there were coverage and kind of threw the ball out of bounds, but not much there. Good coverage there by Wirtz.
So 3rd and 4, actually. Going to move it up a yard, it looks like, from where it was originally. And Castaneda once again looks to the sideline. Pressure may be coming from Redlands here. A blitz comes, but the ball's handed off to Morales, and he's swallowed whole there by number 46 of the Redlands Terriers, Ryder Miller. Ryder Miller, of course, recovering that fumble earlier.
Yeah, and Barola in there too. It's hard to run. A.B. Miller is a zone-based run offense. They're trying to run zone plays. It's hard to run zone plays against an aggressive group of linebackers like Redlands has. They come downhill so fast that it's really hard to run the zone offense game. But In that time they just weren't able to get him, and those linebackers came downhill, got in the backfield, able to make the tackle in the backfield. That's a good play, and it's just a hard play to run against aggressive linebackers like Redlands has.
28-6 ball game. The last time these two teams met, it was 49-7 in favor of Redlands. That's when Jim Walker was there. Derek Dial looking to get a win as well as they punted away here. Ball is punted high. This one's a good punt, not a good punt earlier, but this one bounces and
Great
spills
punt.
way over to the 12-yard line, it looks like. It's going to spill actually to the 10-yard line. A really good punt there. Lots of hang time there. Good job by the A.B. Miller punter. Pins the Redlands Terriers back deep.
So a 0-yard punt and then a 52-yard punt. So he's improving. That's the key. You're looking for improvement. That's big-time improvement out of your punter.
And Sean Moore talks about that so much, just getting this. It's a young team, but improving this team. They're young. They're going to be in a different league. They could make some noise next year. CBL is a very tough league, and they have their work cut out for them so far tonight and heading in their last matchup ever in the CBL.
I think as these young guys grow for Miller, they've got some guys that have a chance to be really good. But they're taking their lumps right now. They're young, and they're taking their lumps.
Aguilar motions Myers over to the far hash. And it's a handoff over to Diaz. Diaz doing a lot of the – actually, that was Zach Barola. Pardon me. Zach Barola taking it over the far hash. Gets a 9-yard gain, 2nd and 1.
Barola runs angry. He runs like he's angry when he has the ball.
Got a little bit of Le'Veon Bell in him.
He's got an attitude, man. He comes downhill, and he looks like he's a mad dude. He definitely runs the ball with the attitude, same attitude that he plays linebacker with.
A good job by the offensive line so far in the run game, led by offensive line coach Ruben Vasquez in his 3rd year as the offensive line coach. Went to school with me, actually. And that ball's handed off again, this time to – oh, there's a fumble on the play, actually. He fumbles, and it's going to be recovered by A.B. Miller. That's going to be A.B. Miller taking over in good field position unless they decide he was down by contact, and they're not. It is going to be a first down for the Rebels. Derek Dial talked about turnovers.
Looks like they're going to call him down. Boy, that's
my mistake. Pardon me. Yeah, it looked like he could have been down as well. Tough one to call.
That's a tough call, against A.B. Miller. It looked like they got the ball out, and overruled, kind of. So a tough call. Good job. Looked like number 18 was the guy that got the ball out. I think that's Izzy Delatorre is the guy that got the ball out, but kind of get overruled, and now looks like Miller. I don't know if Miller's taking a timeout. Looks like Miller's taking a timeout. Yeah, it looks like Coach Moore.
This isn't NFL. You can't review it.
No
review,
see
but the naked eye.
You know what? I think he wants to at least make the guy answer to him. I've felt this before as a head coach. You kind of go, I think that's not the right call, and I at least want to make him come over and have to explain it to me. Why, if he was down, why didn't anybody blow a whistle? If he was down, why did they spot the ball after we recovered the fumble? At what point did you make that decision? I think at least, if you're Coach Moore, you're not probably going to get anything out of this, except you're going to maybe feel a little bit better after it's over.
Coach Moore, desperate to win, hoping to get his first CBL win this season. He won 2 last year. Actually, only won 1 against Eisenhower. He has 5 wins total as a head coach. His 2 wins this year coming against the 2 winless schools, Vista del Lago and Paris High School.
Yeah, started off 2-0 at A.B. Miller and really had Carter on the ropes after a
20-15 game.
Close loss to Fontana, and then had Carter on the ropes. Carter had to score at the very end to win that game. So, really could have been, and you hate to woulda, coulda, but could have been 3-1, could have been 4-0. And then kind of the injury bug bit them. And they're not playing with the same guys that they were playing with at that time, and that's okay. These are young guys, and they got to get better.
Looks like Brian Landon's in the backfield here. They talked about doing some read option stuff with him. They don't elect to do that. They throw a short pass to Isaiah Myers. Isaiah Myers takes it over to the 39-yard line. Good play by Myers there. Let's take a quick moment to remind you about IEMG TV's Sports Weekly. This is the only high school football show in the Inland Empire every Friday night at 11 p.m. on IEMG with Pep Fernandez. Scores and highlights from 11 to midnight as we head into the second quarter of play. It's a 28-6 match, or 28-6 game here so far for the Redlands Terriers. And not only do we have that to mention to you, we also have the UC Riverside Coaches Show. Join Pep Fernandez and the baldest man on planet Earth, Jeffrey Gorham, from the. I hope you're listening tonight, Jeff. From I'm wearing my ascot as well, but from the Inland Sports Show for the UC Riverside Coaches Show on Wednesday, November 1st at Lake Alice in downtown Riverside. Highlander coaches join Pep and the bald man himself to bring you the very latest in UCR athletics. So, a good game here so far for Redlands offensively. Offensively, they have struggled so far this season, and they're looking good tonight. 3 different receivers for Redlands have scored, and, of course, Chris Aguilar has 4 touchdowns on the night, 1 running and, 3 touchdowns, 2 throwing, 1 running. Forgot about Brian Landon's nice throw to Adam McLeod to open up the account for Redlands.
Yeah, you got to get Aguilar on your fantasy team, man.
Yeah, no kidding. He's blowing up. Zach Barola, if you play individual defensive players, you want him too.
Boy. Zach Barola is good.
Luke Keekley of the CBL.
That is one thing I've taken out of this game. He is a good player.
The ball on the 38-yard line here. They switch sides now. Redlands going right to left. Aguilar throws to a wide open Isaiah Myers, but Isaiah Myers can't get to it on the out route. Making it 2nd and 10 here, 28-6 ball game. Bradford Evans and Vinny Fazio have the call with you tonight.
Kind of an all-out blitz there by A.B. Miller. You know, they brought
need to do
both
that.
linebackers and were able to put some pressure. So even though the receiver was open, the pressure on Aguilar made him throw the ball before he was ready.
But it is a dangerous game to play, right?
It's a dangerous game, but, you know, at this point, you can't just sit there and let him run over you. You know, you have to do something to give yourself a chance.
So it's at the 38-yard line again. 2nd down, 11:55 remaining in the quarter. And motion out on the left. They hand it off to Christian Diaz. Diaz spills upside, cuts out to the right, and he could make it all the way. He breaks through, gets to the 30 or the 25-yard line. A nice run there. Huge gain by Christian Diaz.
Started out to the left on a little stretch play. And like a good running back does, saw that it kind of was clogged, stuck his foot in the ground, went all the way back to the backside B gap on the stretch, and then there was nobody there. A.B. Miller kind of over-pursued, and then good speed shown by Diaz. Diaz running kind of outran a couple guys.
Diaz is a guy they want to go to a lot, especially because he's only a junior, 5'10", 170. Good player to have for maybe Derek Dial next year. We'll see about that as he's on an interim basis, but a good player for Redlands to have going into next year.
Yeah, look good there.
And Barola's in the backfield here. Receivers out on the left and right. Motion from Brian Landon. Ball's handed off to Barola. Barola takes a stutter step, cuts outside to the left, and he's tackled by number 6, Davian Moore, pardon me. Barola gets it all the way to the 4-yard line here. To the close hash, 28-6. Redlands going from right to left since the quarter change here. And we'll see what happens as they're in the huddle. And A.B. Miller knows what defense they're going to be running because they're ready to rock. The O-line lines up. McLeod out in the X spot. Landon in motion over to the right. Aguilar might bring pressure here for A.B. Miller. Couple guys blitzing, one guy blitzing free, but Barola gets tripped up and he's going to go to the 1-yard line. Almost had 2 touchdowns so far, but he's been tripped up at the 1-yard line twice today.
That might have cost him a touch. He might have cost himself a touchdown again. I was just going to say I'd like to see him hand it to Barola here, reward him. He's done a lot of the hard work and hasn't got to score any of the touchdowns, but that may still be the story after this play. We'll see. Maybe they'll hammer it to him again.
Last time they sneaked it in with Aguilar. This time they might elect to go on the ground, but they have 2 receivers on the left, 2 on the right as well. They're an empty backfield, actually. So Chris Aguilar, A.B. Miller defense on their toes here in a 28-6 ball game. Motion from Landon. Landon takes it, and he cuts out to the edge. Almost was tackled, but he gets it in for the touchdown. Another touchdown for this Redlands Terriers offense. Man, they're looking good today.
Yeah, the offense is really moving. You know, this is the best they've played offensively, and Miller has not been a horrible defense this year. I mean, they've stopped some people. So the ease of what Redlands been able to do today is kind of surprising. You know, Miller's got some guys out, but Redlands offensively really clicking. You know, they've got to be happy with this effort so far.
Donovan Navarro is 4 for 4 on extra points so far. We'll see if he can make it 5 here. And he snaps it, kicks it. It's good. Hold was good. Kick was good. Making it 35-6 with 10 minutes remaining in the second quarter. Good offensive showing from this Redlands Terriers team. Bradford Evans and Vinny Fazio on the call today. Just want to thank our sponsors real quick again. We're going to go back to Spoiled. Quick quality oil change. You'll be spoiled by their excellent customer service and great prices. Check them out off of Alessandra Boulevard. And Ken's Sporting Goods. Ken's Sporting Goods for more than 40 years in the Inland Empire, taking care of all your sports good needs. Plus, they sell Letterman's jackets. This Saturday at 11 a.m., you can meet a couple Charger girls at Ken's Sporting Goods. Check out kensportinggoods.com. And Boost Performance Training. Boost Performance Training. Athletes of all levels are welcome. Boost can help you achieve your goals. Check out boosttrainingsystems.com. And we're back with the kickoff here. Donovan Navarro once again kicks it far wide over to Morales. Morales takes it up close to the 20-yard line, and he's tackled hard by the Redlands Terriers.
Really
clocked there.
Really a big size discrepancy between the Redlands guys. I mean, you can tell that the Redlands guys are seniors and the Miller guys are sophomores and juniors. They really don't look the same. Redlands looks like a CBL team.
They're big on both lines.
They're
Vinny.
big,
Two really big guys.
They're big. Their linebackers are big and have big legs and big arms. You know, Redlands is really an impressive-looking team. You know, and Miller's just young guys. They got some young guys, and those guys are going to have to grow up.
35-6 game here. Redlands leads. A.B. Miller takes over on offense. Castaneda gets in motion from Kennedy again. Looks like they've run this play multiple times, the option, but it's snuffed out by the Redlands defense. Ton of guys there. Nobody fell for that one.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure what that was supposed to be, if that was speed option or if it was supposed to be some kind of a zone read. The running back looked like he wanted it to be a zone read. The quarterback thought it was speed, so they kind of ran into each other and sort of gummed up the works. And not much there anyway. But looks like he fell forward for a yard or so. Going to be 2nd and 9.
Yeah, 2nd and 9 here. 9-11 remaining in the second quarter. 35-6 game. Bradford Evans and Vinny Fazio on the call.
Looks like a new personnel group here for Miller. Looks like a couple tight ends. Looks like maybe a double tight look.
With Coach Moore, just go with something different at this point, right? See what you could do. Castaneda takes it again, hands it off to Morales. Morales gets a 3-yard gain, cuts it out over to the left. He's tackled. A 2-yard gain, and it's going to be 3rd and 6.
And Morales is going to be okay, man. You know, that right up the middle stuff is going to be kind of hard
especially
for him
with this big,
right now because he's so
line.
little.
Yeah.
But as he grows, as he gets in the weight room for 2 more years, he's got some talent. I mean, that's a kid that can run for some yards. You know, as a junior and senior, he's a guy to keep an eye on as potentially a guy that could rush for some big yards these next 2 years.
And David Morales in the game here, facing off against Eddie. Pardon me, Eddie Wirtz over on the left. And the ball's snapped again. And they take a shot, but it's way off.
I think
intended
that ball might have
for
been batted down
Rojas,
again.
but there's a flag on the play here. So maybe a little bit of pass interference. I don't know which way.
Well, it looked like Miller's tight end was down the field blocking. So I think this is probably going to be either he got tackled or he was down there blocking, but the tight end was 20 yards down the field, involved in some pretty heavy contact. So we'll see which side it goes against.
And it looks like the refs are making their judgment. They're going to call holding on the offense. And it looks like they declined it because it's going to be 4th down here. And will the Miller defense, or will the Miller punt team come out? Yes, they will. In a 35-6 game, not the way that Miller wanted this one to go. They needed to win this one to have a shot at making the Division 11 playoffs. And Redlands, on the other hand, needs to win out. They need to beat Citrus Valley and Miller to have a shot at the Division 5 playoffs and a possible matchup with Paraclete. So the punt team's out again. Brian Landon back to receive. Ball is snapped. It's a slow snap, but it gets there, and a decent punt there. It's fielded by Landon. Landon takes it. No blockers in front of him, but he takes it over to the left-hand side. He's got a little bit of room, and he runs out of room there. Nice tackle there by number 17, Rojas Morales.
I'm really impressed with Redlands' talent. I mean, they're I haven't seen them play yet, but they've got some guys. That kid's really good. That Landon kid's really good. Zach Barola's really good. I mean, they've got some guys. That's a they are. It's unfortunate that they
Could
had
just be in a bad year for the CBL. You have Cajon good.
Cajon's
so
loaded.
Rev's
Ukaipa's loaded.
Citrus Valley's
yeah.
a really good team.
But it's unfortunate for this Redlands team that they kind of had the instability that they had during the offseason this year.
Derek Dial coming in June to take over.
The head coach didn't get in until June, and they had some issues there. But boy, there's some players here. This isn't. The cupboard is not bare at Redlands High for whoever's kind of looking around, at whether that's Coach Dial or somebody else. The cupboard is not bare for Redlands High.
Ball is at the 21-yard line, handed off to Barola. Barola cuts back over to the right side for a 4-yard gain. It looks like actually a 3-yard gain, making it 2nd and 7.
Looked like Miller changed up the defensive front there, went to a 4-man front, been mostly a 3-man, 3-4 look. That time it looked like they went to a little bit of a 4-4, 4-3 look, and might have confused the Redlands blocking assignments because that's the best they've looked against the run today. Only a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8.
Yeah, the Redlands run game having their way with this A.B. Miller defense. Coach Moore looking to stop the bleeding here in a 35-6 game. Aguilar once again throws it over on a slant route. It's dropped by Adam McLeod. Intended for McLeod and couldn't make the play there. Good coverage by the A.B. Miller Rebels.
That was Ware again in the coverage, and he's done a nice job. They got the touchdown on him in the corner, but that was good coverage on that. So they're another good play, and Miller's looked. This is the best they've looked defensively. So kind of got some fire, starting to compete a little bit. And they've looked pretty good on these last 2 plays. Now they got them in 3rd and 8.
Well, 3rd and 8 here, like Vinny said, 35-6 game. Redlands leads. Ball snapped, handed off to Diaz. This time Diaz cuts up the right side, cuts back inside, and he's brought down by the Miller Rebels. So looks like they got the first down there, but still a good job by the A.B. Millers to not let them in the end zone.
Yeah, and just a dominant performance right now by the Redlands offensive line. They've really been the player of the game. They are controlling the Miller defensive front and not really allowing any penetration, opening up big run lanes and making it kind of easy for Diaz and Barola. And now you're at the 5-yard line. Let's see if Barola can actually get one in the end zone.
And they put Adam McLeod over to the right, and they like him in the red zone. He's a red zone threat. Just throw it up to him kind of Mike Evans style. And they hand this one off, though, to Barola. Barola gets his touchdown finally.
There it is.
And the Redlands Terriers score once again. Good run by Barola. Finally gets that touchdown he deserved.
And he kind of ran his own guy over at the goal line. Redlands ran a little zone play, and one of the linemen was kind of at the goal line looking for somebody to block. Barola just ran him over, too. He was definitely had a nose for the end zone on that one. He wasn't coming up at the 1-yard line for the 3rd time.
And they're going to put in their girl kicker for Redlands. That's number 90, Ashley Houghton, taking over in this bit of a blowout here, 41-6, 42-6 if the extra point goes. Let's see what Houghton can do. And ball snapped. Houghton kicks it. It's no good. Missed by about 5 yards there. Couldn't get enough power from Ashley Houghton.
Well,
it stays 41-6.
Miller had some pressure. The timing looked a little off, and that'll happen when you have a new kicker. You're used to a different kicker, and the timing looks a little different. So the timing was a little bit off there from the kind of the whole way. But and so the pressure, I think, affected the kick. I think they might have got a hand on it there. But good effort there by Miller on that whole series, kind of trying to fight back a little bit. But Redlands right now just is executing at a very high level offensively.
I've got a quick question for you, Vinny.
Welcome to the local sports leader in the Inland Empire, the Inland Sports Show. You can find us on Fox Sports IE 1350 AM every single Saturday at 11 a.m. plus live and amplified around the world on the Inland Sports channel on YouTube. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button.
This is Kenny Clark from the Green Bay Packers, and you're watching the Inland Sports Show.
Inland Sports is
Kenny Clark.
Yes. Props to the Carter product. where you coached for so many years.
He was my guy, man.
Yeah.
Kenny Clark was my guy, and then I coached against him, and that was worse.
He's a PTPer. That kicks up over
go out
to
of
the
bounds?
right hash.
Oh, he
Doesn't go out
didn't.
of bounds. He gets it.
Yeah,
There,
mistake.
number 11 Rojas doesn't let that one spill.
Yeah,
and it's
mistake
at
by
the
Rojas.
20.
That ball was going to go out of bounds, and he did kind of the worst thing you can do in that situation. He didn't let it go out of bounds. He fielded it, and then he stepped out of bounds. You know, and you see that happen all the time. I mean, that's certainly a common thing in high school football, but it's hard when it's on the other team's sideline because you don't have anybody to help you. You know, if you get that same kick to your sideline, you have kind of your coaches and everybody that can kind of, hey, let it go. But when it's on the other sideline, you're on your own, and wasn't aware where the sideline was on that one.
So far the Redlands offense has had their way. Their defenses look good as well in a 41-6 game here. 6:15 remaining in the second quarter. Redlands, the Death Star is fully operational, as they would say. The ball's handed off over to Morales. Morales nowhere to go, but he picks up 2 there.
He's still running.
Yeah, he's still running there.
Yeah,
but
I think the whistle blew. I think they let him up when the whistle blew, but he's still running. It looks like you got a couple of sub downs for Redlands on defense. Looks like a couple new linebackers. I don't see Barola in there. So Redlands kind of maybe trying to preserve
ease
some
the
guys
reins a little bit. Of course, that can add some fatigue to some of these JV guys, some of that depth because they played yesterday.
Well, you want to. There's a fine line, especially in subbing down on defense, because you don't want to start giving up a million points. But you want to preserve Barola. I mean, you're going to need him next week if you're going to have a chance to beat Citrus Valley.
Castaneda here is looking around, but he has no options for receiving, and he's sacked. Good play by the Redlands defense, man. They are swarming him, and he has nowhere to go back there.
So far, the difference in this game has been the front. You know, the offensive and defensive front for Redlands has really been in control against the undersized, young A.B. Miller front. And that's kind of been the difference in the game. You know, Miller hasn't been able to block the Redlands front consistently, and Miller hasn't been able to get off blocks, you know, on the defensive side, and that's been kind of the story of the game. And when you're able to dominate the line of scrimmage on both sides, then you got a really good chance to be successful, and that's kind of what's going on here.
Ball at the 11-yard line, Castaneda taking it with Kennedy behind him and waiting for the ball to be snapped. Ball snapped, and he looks through his reads, and the ball swatted it. Oh, he dropped a sure interception there. Number 43, Eddie Navarro. Pardon me, that was number 43, Tristan Ordaz, who almost had the pick 6 there.
Ball tipped at the line again. I think that's the 4th time we've seen that happen. Redlands defensive line guys doing a good job of clearing their pads, getting their hands up and batting the ball down, and that one kind of ticked off, not up in the air, but kind of flat, right to Ordaz, and there was no one in front of him. He's going to be sick when he sees the film because he literally could have walked into the end zone. There was nobody there.
At the same time, Ordaz can take solace in knowing that he has a 41-6 lead here against the A.B. Miller Rebels with 4:43 remaining in the second quarter. Inland Sports Radio.
And a pass breakup. We used to make fun of our guys at Ramona when they drop interception and go, that's all right, you're going to lead the league in pass breakups.
And that's a wafty snap, but it's another good punt here. Three really good punts actually for the A.B. Miller Rebels so far, and that ball bounces all the way to the 44-yard line of Redlands. So Redlands takes over with not as good a field position as they wanted to, but they've been moving the ball as they please with that strong offensive line. So we'll see what they can do here.
Yeah, since the first punt, the first shank, you know, the punt game has been pretty good for Miller. You know, they punted it pretty far. Didn't have great coverage on the last one, gave up a return. But the protection in the punt game has been pretty decent since that first kind of shank that didn't go anywhere.
So Aguilar and company take over here. They have really not been able to have this luxury of blowing teams out so far. All their games have been close, or they've been the ones getting blown out. So it's a little bit nice for Coach Derek Dial so far as the ball's handed off to Barola once again, it looks like, for a 4-yard gain here, 2nd and 6.
And this is as players when you got to be careful about things getting chippy. You know, the Miller guys are frustrated because the game's not going the way they want. Redlands is ahead and having success, and you don't want to get chippy and turn away from the focus of the game. You know, just keep playing the game, keep playing hard. You can play hard and be tough and all that, but you don't want to get into a situation where guys are getting chippy and getting in fights and getting penalties. You never want the game to deteriorate into that.
Isaiah Myers checks into the game. He'll be in the slot next to him on the left out on the edge is Jacoby James, who made that great catch earlier. And Aguilar scans the field, goes to his first read to McLeod. That was intended, but no dice for the Redlands Terriers on that play, making it 3rd and 7.
A good cover by Ware again there. Ware's been pretty good today. You know, like I say, gave up the touchdown, but that was pretty good coverage he had on the touchdown. That was really a kind of a tip your cap kind of a play. You know, and other than that, he's got a couple pass breakups. He's been in the right place. You know, he's played pretty good on that left corner for A.B. Miller.
41-6 ball game here. 3:40 remaining in the second quarter. Redlands up big so far, and they have the ball going from right to left. And another handoff there to Donovan Navarro. Donovan Navarro has 4 extra points, and he's trying to add some rushing yards to his name as well.
They're going to be in 4th down. Be interesting to see if they want to go for it. Looks like they're going to punt the ball here.
Call the ball. They're going to punt it here. Call the dogs off a little bit, and looks like can't tell, Vinny, who is that punting? Do you see?
Well, look like
the
they
number.
Ran a couple of guys back there. I can't tell. It was.
Could be Navarro again.
Yeah, it looked like it was. It's Navarro, but you know, Diaz went back there, and I thought maybe he was going to punt it, but then he just gave him a high five and went back into the formation.
So the first time Redlands asked to punt tonight. Navarro waits the punt. Good snap. Kicks it far, and that's a beauty of a punt there. Pins it off, and there's a fair catch by Kennedy, and the ball's hit by Sean Nim, Cameron Marriott actually, with that long Clay Matthews-esque hair, pinning it at the 22-yard line here. A.B. Miller has their work cut out for him in a 41-6 ball game here. 2:40 remaining.
Well, at this point, you're just trying to play. You're trying to evaluate. Trying to get better. You know, you're not really thinking about, well, how are we going to come back from 35 down?
It has been done, though, before.
It's been done, and if it happens, it happens. But that's not the focus. The focus is, let's try to win this play. Let's try to get better on this play. And then the next play, and then the next play. You know, you don't think about the 35 points. You think about, let's see what we can do on this play, if we can win this play. And if they'll do that, if they'll have that mindset, that kind of growth mindset, they'll be able to improve, and that's what they need to do.
So Redlands outputting their highest scoring total of the season, winning 35-6 against Eisenhower, now 41-6. And big hit there by number 2, Zach Barola. Again, absolutely massacres the running back, Morales.
Barola looks like a dad playing with his kids at the Thanksgiving game, you know? I mean, that's what he looks like. He's so comfortable and so fluid and so big.
I mean, look how big the kid is. He's 220. That's a solid 220.
I mean, he looks like he's playing with his kids or whatever. I mean, that's really what he looks like. He's just a good player, man.
So it's 2nd and 10 here. Looks like it's going to be Castaneda and Kennedy in the backfield. Castaneda hands it off to Kennedy. Kennedy squirts forward, but he's dragged down. 2-yard gain on the play, if that, 1.5 yards more likely, making it 3rd and 9.
Yeah, it looked like Carlo Morales has gone out. Looks like maybe stinger action on the sideline. So you got David Morales.
The 2 twins.
Is the running back. And so he was the guy on the carry there. And again, when you're Miller, you've lost so many guys, and now you're down another running back. You're down to really your 3rd option. And and not only do you have your 3rd running back, but David Morales is a good receiver for them. So now you take another one of your quality receivers out of the game too. And this is the problem when you get guys dinged in high school football. It's hard to function.
And there's a timeout, it looks like, or a flag.
You know, there's a few teams. There's a few teams that can deal with stuff like this.
False start.
You know, Corona Centennial, you can deal with a couple injuries. You know, you're okay. But there just aren't that many teams in high school football.
A ton of depth, I get.
Even the really good ones outside of the Trinity League, there just aren't that many teams that if you lose your top 2 running backs, you're going to struggle. If you lose your top 2 quarterbacks, you're going to struggle. It's just the way it is.
Yeah,
there isn't that much
you can
depth.
do. You can only have so many kids on the roster. Castaneda once again snaps it, looks to his right, passes it over traffic, but it's bobbled. And that was a really good throw there. That was intended for Christian Rojas. Rojas bobbled it, but number 7, Diaz, almost came down with it.
Well, Castaneda's got a little whip, man.
Yeah.
He whipped that ball. He cocked it back there and phew.
That's another thing.
That ball whipped out of there.
Another thing Moore likes about him is he's young and he has potential. Yes, he's raw, but he has the potential to be good. as A.B. Miller goes into a different league next year.
That was a great throw and really good poise by Castaneda back there. He's been pressured. They've been after him the whole game, but that was a nice little whip. Got that ball right in there.
So Miller's going to punt again. It's 41-6 here with 45 seconds remaining. We'll see if Coach Dial tries to go for the score or tries to run the clock off to halftime.
The other thing I like about Castaneda,
up high.
Watching him on the sidelines, he's going over, he's talking to his teammates, he's involved with the guys, he's talking to his linemen, he's giving guys high fives. You know, this game isn't going the way they want it to, but Castaneda's letting them know, I know I'm a sophomore, I know I haven't played a ton of games at quarterback, but I'm not quitting. I'm going to keep playing, I'm staying, I'm finishing my coffee. I'm going to keep playing this game, let's keep going.
Good job by Castaneda to be there for his teammates, and that's what you have to do as a quarterback as the Redlands offense comes out. And they are at the A.B. Miller 42-yard line. Of course, Redlands going from right to left here, 41-6 ball game, 33 seconds remaining. We'll see if they just
it looks like they're just going to down the ball, yeah.
And so far, what have you liked from Redlands in the first half, and going into the second half? What can you see Miller do to improve?
Offensively, I've liked everything Redlands has done. They've mixed the run and the pass. They've ran the ball well. Their offensive line has really been in control of the game. Aguilar's made some throws. I've kind of liked everything offensively from Redlands. And you know what? Miller's just got to keep fighting. They're young, and they've got to compete. This is a chance to show your character. You don't get that many chances to play football games. Football is a game where it's not like baseball, where when you're done playing, you can go play in a softball, an old softball. When you're done playing football, you're done playing football. So you don't get that many opportunities. They got a whole half left to play.
Of course,
go
it's
out,
senior night too.
Cut it loose.
These guys want to play
hard, play for your teammates, have fun, and see if you can get better. What can you do, to get better in the second half?
So it's 41-6 heading into half. Redlands up big, scoring the most they've ever scored this season and the most under Coach Dial, 35-6 last week. Offense looking really good for this Redlands Terriers as they look and hope to battle for that playoff spot. We're going to thank our sponsors and go to halftime. First off, we're going to go with Spoiled. Spoiled quick quality oil change. You'll be spoiled by their excellent customer service and great prices. Go see Bill Navigato and check them out off of Alessandra Boulevard in Riverside. Ken's Sporting Goods. How can we forget Ken's? Serving the Inland Empire for more than 40 years, taking care of all your sports gear needs. Plus, they have Letterman's jackets. And this Saturday at 11 a.m., you can meet a couple Charger girls at Ken's Sporting Goods. Check out kensportinggoods.com. Boost Performance Training. Athletes of all levels need to check out Boost Performance Training in Corona. Whether you're playing youth sports or trying to get that college scholarship, Boost can help you achieve your goals. Check out boosttrainingsystems.com. And Catalana Motors. Visit Catalana Motors dealership off Temescal Canyon Road in Corona for a new-to-you car, truck, or SUV. Stepping onto a car lot can be uncomfortable, but it does not have to be. Make buying a car easy and visit Catalana Motors. The website is catalanocars.com. And we can't forget on Friday, tomorrow actually, I'll be shooting and doing a voiceover of the Citrus Valley Ukaipa game, but don't forget Sports Weekly Live on IEMG TV, the only high school sports show in the Inland Empire, every Friday night from 11 p.m. on IEMG with Pep Fernandez. Scores and highlights from 11 to midnight. And don't forget to tune in to the UCR Coaches Show. Join Pep Fernandez and Jeff Gorham from the Inland Sports Show for the UC Riverside Coaches Show on Wednesday, November 1st at Lake Alice in downtown Riverside. Highlander coaches will join Pep and Jeff to bring you the very latest in UCR athletics. So, like I said, 41-6. We're going to take a quick 10-minute break. Don't go anywhere. Stay for the conclusion of this game. And we are back here live at A.B. Miller High School, Bruce Richardson Stadium, the A.B. Miller's Rebels home. Redlands High School taking on A.B. Miller on Thursday night, 41-6 in favor of the Redlands Terriers so far. Bradford Evans and Vinny Fazio on the call with you tonight. And like you said, Vinny, this Rebels team needs to not give up on senior night, right?
Yeah, you just got to fight. You know, we've all been in this situation, right? I mean, anybody that's coached long enough, anybody that's played long enough, you've been in this situation. You hate it.
It's horrible.
You don't want to be there. It's horrible. It's a nightmare, but everybody's been there. You got to fight. You know, you got to show. This is where you can really show what kind of character you have, and you hate to have to do it. But this is where you can start to build your program from the ground up, you know. And if you can show that you can fight back, you can continue to play even though things are hopeless, you know, this is where you reveal that character. And so let's see what Miller's willing to do, willing to fight back here against the Terriers in the second half.
Donovan Navarro to kick for Redlands High School in a 41-6 game so far. Kennedy back to receive with Rojas. And we are about to get the third quarter of action underway in CBL play. Both these teams are second to last and last. Miller is in last right now, 8th place, and Redlands High School finds himself in 7th. And as we mentioned before, this is A.B. Miller's second to last game in the Citrus Belt League. They've been a part of this league for so many years, for 10, 15 years, and their run has come to an end. And if you're Sean Moore, you're going to want to get a win tonight. If you can. You can't focus too much on it. It's 41-6, could be out of hand. But these last two games, you have to show your character.
Well, and for the young players at A.B. Miller, because these guys are still going to be here next year. You know, there's a lot of guys that are playing tonight that are going to play next year too. So for those young guys, this is about them getting better. This is about improving. This is about showing your character, fighting for your seniors, guys you've been in the weight room with every day for a couple of years, and you want to fight for them, and you want to give them as good an end to this game as you can, and then getting yourself better, getting your team better, so you have that baseline to raise the program up. You know, starting whether it looks like it's gonna have to start next year. So next year you can raise that program back up.
And we're still waiting for the kickoff.
It's like we got chain issues.
I didn't see that. Vinny knows best, right?
Yeah, this is when you do this long enough, you kind of know where all the
how
things
everything
are.
works.
Yeah. So it looked like we didn't have the chain guys weren't ready to go. Looks like they are now.
Ex-Ramona High School head coach Vinny Fazio in the booth with me, Bradford Evans, tonight, and kickoff is underway.
Great
the
kick.
Second half begins. Good kick there. Where were they hiding that guy? That was not Donovan Navarro. That guy absolutely massacred. We're looking for a number here still.
82, Mason
number
Howard.
82, Mason Howard. Where were you hiding that guy? Where were you? Didn't know you had Greg Zerline on the sideline.
I always used to wonder this. If you can kick the ball in the end zone, why not just kick the ball in the end? Why are you doing all this other stuff? Why are you pooching the ball and squibbing it? Just let that dude kick it in the end zone.
Yeah,
that ball was 5 yards deep.
Of course, a couple of these A.B. Miller runs have been broken off for huge gains. So, yeah why not kick it off
if you
far.
can.
So, 41-6 here, beginning of the third quarter after the touchback. Castaneda taking over at quarterback for A.B. Miller. And he snaps the ball, hands it off to Morales. Morales is going nowhere. Swallowed whole by that senior defensive line. Everybody on that D-line is a senior, and it shows there with the big presence they have.
And they're just big. They look like seniors. They're big, and then you get the two big linebackers inside. Obviously Ordaz and Barola. You get those two big linebackers inside. It's just not a lot of room in there. There's not a lot of room to operate.
So Barola and Tristan Ordaz in the middle. And on the edges you have Zachary Ring and Matt Salesian. Looks like they're showing blitz here. Ordaz backs off for the moment, and there's a quick pass over to the left hash, and no going there for the Redlands, for the A.B. Miller Rebels as the Terriers tackle him. That was number 36 of the Redlands Terriers, Zachary Ring, on the play.
Great pursuit by the Redlands defense. They're still playing hard. You saw all 11 Terriers turn and run over there to the ball after that quick throw. Looked like they might have numbers out there, might have been able to make a play, but boy, those guys went flying out there and closed that lane down.
So the Redlands Terriers, as we touched on, they have 17 seniors on this team. So a lot of changes coming next year. Very experienced team this year with a young coaching staff. Derek Dial taking over for Jim Walker, who coached for 25 years, as there's a blitz over up in the middle. But Morales dances around, spins around, and gets some yardage back from that one. That makes it 3rd and 7. It'll be 4th and 7 now, actually.
Boy, that's an A-plus 4-yard run, huh? I mean,
he broke like 2 tackles.
Barola hit him almost right when he got the ball. He spun off of Barola, who's, if not one of the best defensive players in this league, maybe the best defensive player in this league, spun off of Barola, found another little lane, got hit again, ended up with a 4-yard gain. That was a really good 4-yard run by Morales.
So far, a really good game for this defense and this offense. Multiple receivers scoring, not one guy really lighting it on fire for the Redlands Terriers offense, but everybody's getting involved. Chris Aguilar's having himself a day. And Castaneda lines up, and they punt it, actually. Ball's punted. Yeah, that's 5 straight punts that are really good, and it's fair caught by the Redlands Terriers. That's number 4, Adam Valencia.
And nice job by 4. Valencia, he's a sophomore. First time back there tonight. We haven't seen him back there returning punts, and that was a pretty fearless effort. Ran up there in some traffic, fair caught the ball, made a nice catch with his elbows high and his feet set, like Bill Parcells would say. That was well done, and saves Redlands probably 10 or 15 yards of field position by doing that.
So the Redlands Terriers take over on the 50-yard line midfield in a 41-6 ball game. 9:31 remaining. Redlands leads.
It'll be interesting to see how long we see the Redlands big guns, how much of those guys going to play.
Landon goes in motion again. They've been doing that often, and then they hand it off over.
Oh,
and there's a fumble. Christian Diaz fumbles it. Is it recovered by the A.B. Miller's a scrum for it? And we don't know who has the ball yet, but it looks like A.B. Miller might have come down with it. They do come down with it. Of course, earlier they had that fumble in the second quarter. That didn't go their way, but now the A.B. Miller player is hurt who recovered it on the ground, but he jogs off. That's number 18, Nathan Mendoza.
I think that's De La Torre.
De La Torre, probably.
That's the second turnover De La Torre's been involved in. Earlier he was involved in stripping the ball, and on that one he was involved in recovering it. So that's the second time De La Torre's been heavily involved in a fumble play. And A.B. Miller's got the ball, got a little field position.
A good field position for A.B. Miller, taking over Castaneda from the gun. Claps for the ball, gets it, and has pressure. Pressure's coming. He escapes out the pocket. He runs outside. There's a flag on the field, though, but
like he got his face mask
brought down,
grabbed,
by Zach Barola again. But they're going to call face mask on this probably, and that one will go to the 45-yard line. Not the start you want from this Redlands defense, of course. Turning it over there a few minutes ago, and now they're backed up on their own side of the field here in a 41-6 ball game.
Well, and for Redlands, you don't want to let this deteriorate. You don't want to let your your play tempo drop. And that's kind of when that happens, you get a little loose with the ball comes out. You don't bend your knees as much, you get up high, and all of a sudden you're grabbing face mask instead of wrapping jersey. So Redlands has to work hard. They haven't been in this situation this year where they've been way ahead, had the game in control. They got to work hard not to let their their standard of play drop.
Dial said he has to make sure that this team doesn't go in complacent. Looking to get their second win in CBL play. Ball's snapped to Castaneda. Pressure coming. He escapes it for the moment. But there's another big hit there, and that's guess who? Zachary Barola again. He's been all over the place. One of the better players in the CBL, showing why he's the guy on defense.
Yeah, it's a hard situation that Castaneda's in right now. Their top 2 running backs are out of the game, and one of their better receivers is now playing running back. So, your receiver quality has stepped down just a little bit. You don't have guys maybe getting a lot of separation. Your offensive line, which is really young, is trying to block this kind of veteran Redlands group. So it's a tough situation for a young quarterback, and he's got to just continue to improve, look down the field, hit that step, and throw the ball.
2 wide receivers to the left. Castaneda tries to get the D-line to jump offside. They don't, and awkward play-action exchange given, but Guess who's there again? There's a flag, though, but it's Zach Barola again in the backfield, swallowing the running back hole.
I think he might have got
We'll
another
see what
face
happened.
mask.
Another face back mask possibly.
I'm
That'll be
not
the second one
100%
this
sure.
drive. And we'll see what the referee has to say here. They're going to say it's a face mask on the Redlands Terriers, and that's going to advance A.B. Miller's field position. Another ill-disciplined play by the Redlands Terriers.
Yeah, disappointing. Not what you want to see, but you got to keep your. It's hard when you're to bend your knees in football is hard. It's uncomfortable. You bend your knees and you get tired and it's uncomfortable. So one of the first things you do when you start to kind of lay off and back off of your effort level is you start to get higher. You start to stand up tall rather than bend your knees. And two bad things that can happen there. The first is you can get hurt. That's the way standing up tall, that's how you get hurt. But the second thing is all of a sudden you're grabbing up here. You're grabbing up around the helmet and up around the face mask, and that's what's happened to Redlands now. 30 yards in face mask penalties on this drive. They've got to button this down and continue to play. There's too much game left for them to be deteriorating into kind of this lower level of play.
Like Vinny said, lots of game left in this one. 7:38 remaining in the third quarter. 41-6 ball game in favor of the Redlands Terriers. Terriers looking to get their third win on the season and maybe make the playoffs in Division 5. And Castaneda looks, scans the field, throws it outside. It's a
nice
wide
ball.
open Kennedy. Nice throw there. And then he does a little bit of work, tackled by 3 Terriers on the play. That one's going to go to number 23, Joey Lewis.
Wide open receiver. And if you're Redlands right now, you're looking at Miller. David Morales went out on that last face mask play. They are down to their 4th running back. So I think you probably have a pretty good idea that the ball's going to be in the air.
Do you ever try to
for
run
most
it
of these
if
plays.
you're Coach John
Sure,
Moore with Castaneda? Try to
Castaneda
run with him?
maybe can run a little bit, or you try your running backs. I mean, these guys running backs, they're in your offense every day. You can't totally give up on it, but if you're Redlands, you got to think it's probably past now.
Ball snapped to receivers on each side. They're going to take a shot to the end zone here.
He's
Good
open.
run by Christian Rojas, but good pass protection by the Terriers. Play was broken up there.
I thought Rojas might have got interfered with on that play. It looked like Rojas was open and had a chance to maybe go up and catch that ball. And it looked like the Redlands corner just kind of reached out and grabbed his arm and pulled his arm down and no call. So, it's hard to the referees are doing everything they can, and Miller has gotten a couple of calls on this drive, so you certainly don't want to blame referees. But I thought there was a little contact there. I thought Rosas had a chance to make a play.
Ball is in the red zone at the 19-yard line. Christian Rojas has thrown a couple good throws this drive and looking to get his team into the end zone to make this one a little bit nicer on the scoreboard. It's 41-6 right now in the third quarter.
They've got Rojas against the undersized DB again. They might try to go back to that matchup.
And Castaneda snaps it, looks over to his left, goes to his second read, and throws it over the middle. Maybe there's pass interference. It looked like number 39 from Redlands Terriers held him a little bit, Levi Garcia, but to no avail for this A.B. Miller Rebels team.
Pretty good pressure on that play by the defensive front there. Castaneda did a really nice job. Hit his step, felt the pressure, stepped up into the pocket where they had a little bit of protection for him, and then delivered a pretty good ball. But just the timing a little bit off with the receiver, and that's what happens when you get to receivers that maybe aren't the guys you've been working with all week. They're down to a group of receivers that maybe didn't get a ton of reps during a week of practice, and so the timing is going to be an issue.
3rd and 10 at the 19-yard line. Rebels in the red zone. Ball is delayed from the snap. They fake the snap and snap now, and there's pressure coming once again, and it's that Redlands D-line. Sean Nim on the play there. Good job by this defensive front of Redlands.
And I don't know who this running back is that came in for Miller. He's not on the roster. 25 is his number. But he stepped up and made a really nice pass protection block there. It looked like there was going to be a sack from the player off the edge. And he stepped up and stunned him. Now, he's a little skinny guy and stepped up and stunned that D lineman. That was a nice play by 25, who's the 4th running back we've seen for Miller today. But that was a really good play, really good pass protection play by him. Gave Castaneda a chance, but just nothing open down the field. Miller's going to have to try a field goal. They got to beware. They might get a delay penalty. You can't get the right guys on the field.
Donovan Harvey enters the game here. They're going to try to get extra 3 points here with Julian Kennedy on the hold here. Kicker, ball's bobbled a little bit, and it's blocked, and it could be returned there.
Yeah, it's going to be.
Redlands number 19 here, Blake Marriott, running down the sideline, and he absolutely gets trucked off the block. Who blocked that guy? That guy absolutely got massacred. My goodness.
Justin Gonzalez.
Gonzalez with a great block.
Nice hit. That was a big physical hit. That's a way to stop the return. Nice job there by Justin Gonzalez. Big physical hit. And, but good pressure up the middle. Timing was kind of disrupted for Miller there. The kick is blocked, and now Redlands has the ball back. 5 minutes and 18 seconds to go.
So Blake Marriott, brother of Cameron Marriott, that standout D lineman and O lineman, recovers it, that blocked kick, and he could have recovered it and took it away, but the Redlands Terriers take over on the 32-yard line. Chris Aguilar still in the game, and I talked to Dial a little bit about Aguilar. He likes what he has to do. He's an outside linebacker by trade, but he's doing a good job so far tonight. And Barola once again fumbles, though. He fumbled, and it looks like the
Miller might have
going
this
to recover again. Back-to-back fumble
recoveries.
They do.
They got it right here.
And they do have the ball here. A.B. Miller recovers. Davian Rowe gets the ball, and he's excited on senior night to get that one back at the Redlands, or at the Redlands 40-yard line.
Wait, are they saying he was down? The Miller guy had the ball.
Two really lucky breaks for him on two plays that looked like they were fumbles.
My.
Christian Diaz fumbled earlier, and Zach Barola fumbles here. So holding on to the ball has been a problem for this Terrier team, but they don't shoot themselves in the foot because they recover.
Wow.
And Barola's not getting pulled for fumbling there. Maybe he would be pulled if he dropped it again. He's already fumbled once in this game, and here we go. Chris Aguilar with three receivers to the close hash line. He throws it deep, and he has his receiver, but overthrows him by just a little bit.
I'm still stunned that it's not A.B. Miller's ball right now. This should be A.B. Miller's ball. I mean, the ball was on the ground. The A.B. Miller guy recovered it, got up with it. I have no explanation for why this isn't A.B. Miller's football, why Redlands still has the ball. I mean, I hate to harp on something that already happened, but there is no way it's not A.B. Miller's ball right now.
Yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, as they say. So Redlands getting a little bit lucky. Could have had 2 turnovers to start off the third quarter, but luck falls in their favor, and Isaiah Myers exits the game. Jacoby James was the receiver targeted last time out, and they have him isolated on single coverage again.
A.B. Miller a little bare
Safeties
front on defense.
look like they're going to blitz. Ball snapped, handed off to none other than Barola. Barola goes far left.
Here.
There's a hold here, though, but Barola running to the sideline, and a nice stiff arm there by Barola. Oh, my goodness. Beast mode is in effect here. He broke 2 guys, stiff-armed a man to the end zone, but it looks like this one could come back. What a run by Barola. He said, get off me.
That was an amazing run, just a great angry-looking run, but the hold was right at the point of attack, and it was early. A.B. Miller in a little bare front defense, and your edge guy can't let the ball go around him. Ball got around the end, but I think the ball got around the end because the edge guy got held. But Barola, holy smoke.
Yeah, that was a run.
That was a Marshawn Lynch.
Yes, that was Marshawn Lynch.
That was a great run.
That was just a fantastic run to see from the young man. And they're actually going to bring that one way back here. It was 3rd and 4. And Barola, got on his high horse there.
Wow.
And ran over a few people, trampled a few people on that high horse of his. But it's to no avail, and it's 3rd and 19 now. But, man, that was impressive by Barola. I hope that one's in the highlights. Pep, put that one in the highlights regardless of it being a hold.
Yeah, that was an incredible run. It's too bad he won't get any credit for that, but really nice. Holy smoke.
Aguilar from the gun once again. Pressure looks like it's coming from the defensive front. Linebackers look like they're blitzing. They do. And there's a free man, but Aguilar throws it, and it's intercepted by number 12. And he runs it all the way to the end zone. It's going to be a pick 6 here for number 12, Andrew Ward. Andrew Ward picking it off. The pressure came from the outside linebacker, and the A.B. Miller Rebels make it 12-41. Really nice play there by the A.B. Miller's defense.
You know, A.B. Miller playing the little bear front with a blitz up the middle. So you got every offensive lineman covered in the bear. He brought the Mike linebacker through the A gap. No one blocked him. The bear is a difficult front to block if you haven't worked on it much. I don't know how much A.B. Miller's shown it through the year, but a good adjustment by them at halftime and able to get pressure up the middle. Got right into Aguilar's face. He threw it, and then good speed. Really good speed by Ward there up the sideline. Once he caught the ball, he knew what to do with it. And it looks like
they're going to go for two
here.
Yeah,
looks like maybe going to go for two.
So it's 41-12 here, looking to get the extra 2-point conversion. A.B. Miller, maybe with a bit of trickery, it looks like their whole O-line's lining up beyond that left hash. We'll see what they do, as they haven't broke their formation yet, but Sean Moore might have a little bit of trickery up his sleeve after the nice defensive play, nice defensive adjustment by the coach. And there's another flag. The ref throws a flag, it looks like. And
yeah, it's delay of game.
Delay of game here.
You're still on a play clock, you know, after a touchdown. A lot of times teams make that mistake. They think they got more time than they have, but you're still on a play clock. The play clock still runs. So after the touchdown, you got to celebrate. You know, the guys celebrated. By the time they knew they were going for two, took them a while to get guys off and on. And so now they're going for two from a little farther back.
So to recap that touchdown, the pressure came against Chris Aguilar. Chris Aguilar got it away, but it was to Andrew Ward. Andrew Ward returns it for the touchdown, making it 41-12 in favor of the Terriers. And they line up on the left far hash. Castanado throws it into the end zone, a little fade route it looked like, to Rojas. Rojas can't come down with it. Coverage was good by the Redlands Terriers. So it's 41-12 here. 3:47 remaining in the third quarter.
I think two things to talk about here. First of all, the pride of the A.B. Miller guys continuing to play, playing hard. They got a lot of guys out. They're playing young guys, but continuing to fight, so you got to give them some credit there. But for Redlands, they have gotten very sloppy. It's been a very sloppy 7 minutes for Redlands, and you hate to do that. You played so good in the first half. Everything kind of went the way you wanted it to go. You played really well, and then to get that sloppy after halftime, you know, they've fumbled twice. They've given up pressure that they weren't giving up in the first half. They've thrown an interception now. They've, you know, just a sloppy couple of, 60 yards in penalties in the half. So just a very sloppy start to the half by Redlands. And
2 turnovers for the Redlands Terriers, and one that should have been a fumble.
It should have been a turnover.
It should be 3.
Right.
So every time they touch the ball in this third quarter, it's not been good. And Derek Dial said this team can't be complacent, and so far it looks like they're complacent and comfortable with this 41-12 lead. Yes, it's a big lead, but you still want to see your players execute.
Well, and even if look, the truth is, Redlands is going to win this game. A.B. Miller's not going to win this. Redlands is going to win this game. But
going into next
they're
week
not thinking. I mean, you got to start thinking about the other things. You know, you can't lose you've got a great tempo. You've got your executing. You don't want to lose that going into what's going to be the biggest game of your season.
Spills out of bounds. It's going to be a flag. Spills out of bounds at the 18-yard line. It looked like Isaiah Myers was going to take it, but he elected not to because he knew it was going to spill outside.
Yeah, that was a smart play by Myers, letting the ball go out of bounds.
Sometimes these players get a little too giddy and want to take it and make a play.
That was a smart play. I like that play by him. He did his thing. He let the ball go, and I think they're going to take the ball now at the 35-yard line. So instead of taking it and stepping out of bounds or taking it deep and getting tackled, they get the ball at the 35. Decent field position to start the drive.
So Redlands coming off of that pick 6 to Andrew Ward, looking to change their fortunes in the third quarter. So to the left of Aguilar is Diaz. Wide receivers on the right, 2 on the right and 2 on the left. Ball snapped, handed off to Diaz once again. Diaz running inside for a nice gain there, 4-yard gain, making it 2nd and 6.
And Miller in this bear front now is in man coverage. So that's the thing about the bear. The bear forces you into either some really complex zones or man coverage. And most likely teams play that man coverage look out of the bear. So they're essentially in a cover zero. You know, they're essentially in man on man on man on all the receivers. And so I think
lead to some big plays for
Redlands wants to establish their run, and I get that. But at some point, you think you're going to probably see Redlands try to throw them out of this bear front.
Jacoby James lined up. They hand it over to Diaz. Again, Diaz breaks a tackle and goes far wide right, and he breaks another tackle. That's 2 tackles, 3 tackles, but he's pushed out of bounds. Nice run by Christian Diaz.
And the vital thing, and we were a bear team at Claremont College, so I know a little something about this defense. The vital thing about the bear is those end players cannot let the ball get around them. They have to be the end of the world, because if the ball gets around, there's nobody out there. The DBs are in man coverage. They don't have a chance to play the run.
And that's something we saw there.
So the DBs are turning and running in man coverage. If the ball gets around the defensive end, there's nobody there. It just runs up the sideline. Those defensive ends have got to set the edge. They've got to turn the ball back inside.
Ball at the 25-yard line of A.B. Miller in a 41-12 game. Aguilar gets it again, scans outside, goes left, throws it, and he finds his man, Adam McLeod. Adam McLeod gets it, gets some yak afterwards, and he scores the touchdown. Nice slant route thrown into McLeod for the touchdown, getting his second of the game.
And on that play, you saw the good and the bad, what can be the good and the bad of the Bear defense all in one play. They got great pressure on the quarterback because it's hard to block. If you haven't worked against the Bear a lot, it's a hard defense to block. There's a lot of ins and outs to blocking that front. So they got great pressure, but a great job by Aguilar standing in there, taking the pressure, delivering the ball, and now you're in cover zero man-to-man coverage. If your guy runs away from coverage, he's got a big play.
And Ashley Houghton back up to attempt another extra point opportunity. She missed her last one, and we'll see if she goes 0 for 2 or 1 for 2. She kicks it and can't make it, so she's 0 for 2 on the day. In a 47-12 matchup, this one's gotten a little bit out of hand. It was out of hand early. It was 41-6 heading into the
Her approach is a little long. That's something they got to work with, with her on. Her approach, she's taking like 5 steps to kick the ball. She's got to shorten that approach. You know, if you're going to take more than 2 steps on a PAT, there's a really good chance it's going to get blocked. And so what's happening right now is the ball's not getting kicked with the timing they're used to because she's taking a couple extra steps. They've got to button that down. You know, you have to be able to kick PATs off of 2 steps or they're going to get blocked.
So we'll take a little bit of time to thank our sponsors. Spoiled Quick Quality Oil Change. You'll be spoiled by their excellent customer service and great prices. Go see Bill Navigato off Alessandra Boulevard. Ken's Sporting Goods, more than 40 years in the Inland Empire, taking care of all your sports gear needs, plus Letterman's jackets. Don't forget this Saturday at 11 a.m. you can meet 2 Charger girls. Check out kensportinggoods.com. And Boost Performance Training. Athletes of all levels need to go to Boost if they're wanting to enhance their athletic ability. Check out boosttrainingsystems.com. That ball's kicked off, and there's a run by Kennedy.
I've been
looks
impressed
like
with
spill
Kennedy.
it there.
I've been impressed with Kennedy today. He's a good athlete. He can kind of do it all, kind of catch it, kind of run it.
He threw one.
Looked really good on the throw for a touchdown. I've been impressed with Kennedy. He's done a nice job today for A.B. Miller.
So the Miller Rebels take it over on the 35-yard line in a game they needed to win. It looks like they might not. It's the 39-yard line, pardon me. But it's their second to last CBL game ever. Their last CBL games against Yucaipa, and Yucaipa's 7-1. They're terrific, so they got their work cut out for them if they want to win their last CBL game here. And Kennedy lines up on the outside near the close hash. And the 40-yard line closest to us. Castaneda still in the game here. 2 receivers to the left and 1 to the right. It looks like they're connecting. They're talking to each other. Maybe a throw up to Kennedy. And they look to Julian Kennedy. Julian Kennedy runs inside, and he can't catch it. It's deflected off of the Redlands Terriers. And the one breaking that one up was Levi Garcia.
That was another good throw by Castaneda. He's had a couple good throws that the receivers weren't able to pull in for him today. That was probably about the 3rd one that was right on his guy. And really, Kennedy had a chance, if he caught that, to make some yards even on the run after the catch. So, you've got to pick up your young quarterback. When you got a young quarterback trying to play and hasn't played a lot, you got to pick him up.
47-12, 1 minute remaining in the 3rd quarter. Redlands Terriers up big, looking for their second CBL win and third win on the season. Castaneda once again. Defender flinches, outside linebacker, he's blitzing, and they throw that nice throw to nobody there. Nobody's there. It looks like number 4 for Redlands, Adam Valencia.
Yeah, kind of airmailed that one. A little bit of an airmail job by Castaneda there, trying to get the ball to Rojas. They think they have a good matchup, and they do. Rojas actually is taller, has a little height advantage on the DB that's covering him. So they like their matchup over there, but didn't pull the ball down, and left it high and kind of sailed into nothing. And now you're into 3rd and 10.
3rd and 10 here. 20 seconds remaining in the third quarter. A little bit ugly for A.B. Miller. But they're staying in and fighting and giving it their all.
They've got 3 guys out here covering Kennedy on this play.
I think they might think they're going to throw it to him.
Yeah,
maybe.
3 guys on him.
3 out to the left receivers. They go that way. Yes, they elect to go to there. They throw a bomb way out there. It's intended for Rojas. Rojas can't get it. Incompletion. 4th and 10 now. Do they send the punt team out? Yes, they do.
Andrew Tamano, the corner, who's not great in stature, 5'4" guy, but that was really good cover. Just squeezed Rojas out of there, and that's what you're supposed to do in zone coverage on the deep ball. You just want to squeeze the receiver out and give him 2 choices. Either he lets the ball go incomplete and stops, or you just run him right out of bounds.
So, looks like is there a flag? It looks like they're advancing.
In the quarter,
yeah.
Going to the 4th quarter.
Oh, yeah, it's the 4th quarter. Pardon me. Yeah, it's 4th quarter, 47-12 here. Bradford Evans and Vinny Fazio have the call with you today, and we will just remind you to tune in to the Inland.
The undisputed sports leader in the IE and 2-time finalist for the top TV radio show in the Inland Empire. Thanks to our big-name guests, exclusive interviews, video highlights, and, of course, nobody breaks more news than Inland Sports. Hosted by Big Salty Jeff Gorham and the IE Media Personality of the Year, Pep.
They're going running clock here in a 47-12 game. So we'll see if this game ends quickly. There's a punt there.
You got to get all your witty comments in here fast, man.
No kidding.
It's going to happen fast. Now another good punt. Ball's down inside the 15-yard line.
So after that one really bad punt by number 85 of A.B. Miller, he's done a very good job so far.
Yeah, give him a lot of credit. He's punted the ball really well.
So we'll see what Derek Dial does. Does he send out the B team, or does he keep his guys in there? No other quarterback has played besides Chris Aguilar this season for Redlands High School. And their backup would be Jesse Blair, a sophomore, and the JV quarterback.
I imagine we're going to see some sub downs coming from Redlands. I imagine we're going to see looks like a lot of clean uniforms coming out here now.
Much needed experience for this Redlands High School team. Looks like most of the JV teams out there, and pardon me, Jesse Blair is not playing today.
Trent Lewis.
It's going to be Trent Lewis out there. Trent Lewis gets pressure, he's hit. He's absolutely knocked down.
Welcome to the game,
welcome
Trent.
To varsity, Trent.
Donovan Harvey, who's a big 6'3", 230 D lineman.
How's that
for
feel
A.B.
coming
Miller.
After you? Trent Lewis, a little guy.
Welcome to varsity football, Trent. Looks like they're subbing quarterback, so it looks like Jesse Blair in now.
Okay, so they're giving the 2 guys a chance. Jesse Blair now in. After that, I mean, he might have gotten hurt off that one, Trent Lewis. And Blair hands it off, and he's just absolutely mauled. It doesn't look like the backup O-line is doing too good of a job here, Vinny.
Well, and, you've got Miller still playing that bear front with their starting D-line, and so their starting D-line is right now beating the Redlands JV O-line. And, you got man-on-man kind of matchups there in the bear. So right now Miller's winning those man-to-man matchups and just getting in the backfield.
Well, 2nd and 10 ball on the 5-yard line. We'll see what Redlands have to do. Third, is it? Yeah, it's 3rd.
Don't go backwards, buddy.
And they absolutely go backwards. The blocking of the Redlands Terriers, backup line not getting the job done, and good play by the A.B. Miller Rebels.
Well, and this is always the issue when you sub down. I mean, you want to give those guys a chance to play. Kids that have worked hard and come to practice every day, and this might be the first chance they have to play in a varsity game. But no matter what you say, varsity and JV aren't the same. Varsity games are not JV games. And so you know, you want to be able to get these guys in, but you also don't want your level to drop so much that it turns into kind of a bad deal, a bad scene. And so that was not what you wanted if you were Redlands. I mean, you lose 22 yards or whatever on that drive. Now you're punting from your own end zone.
Ball's punted by Donovan Navarro. Navarro gets a good punt off, though, and ball bounces past the 50-yard line into the 48. And it's touched by the Terriers. That's number 11, Jacoby James, hustling and running that one down. 47-12. It's a running clock, 8:30 remaining in the game. The Redlands Terriers will get their second CBL victory of the season, and they'll head to Citrus Valley for a tough matchup.
That's a big game, huh?
Yes, it is.
That's a big game. I think that game's got some playoff implications. I'm not sure what division Citrus Valley is,
There's 7, I believe.
Well, it might be harder. You know, the farther down you get, it's harder because there's so many teams. There's like 60 teams in some of those things, so it's harder. But for Redlands in 5, where there aren't that many teams, they've got a chance. You know, they've got a fighting chance to get in, especially if they end up in 4th or 5th place.
So Castaneda takes it again. Manland behind him. Throws it deep to Rojas. Rojas catches it, and now he's running past it, and he's carrying defenders to the 12-yard line. Good play there by Rojas. No coverage there. Nobody contested that one, and he came down with it easily.
Yeah, a little double move there by Rojas, like a little hitch and go. Ran the hitch and got the DB to bite, and then Castaneda put the ball on him. That's a really good throw. And Rojas has had a nice game. He's had kind of an advantage out here all day. But they haven't always been able to take advantage of it, and that time they were.
So Castaneda with a nice throw down the field and good yards after catch by Rojas. Ball's snapped again. They throw it off. They hand it off to Morales. Morales goes up to the right, spills in, but is tackled by the safety and middle linebacker. That makes it 7 minutes remaining, 47-12. Ball at the 3-yard line.
Now this looks like this might be the starting defense coming
swap.
back
They
in.
don't want to give up any more points here.
Yeah, this might be the starters. They're going to have to call timeout or they're going to get a penalty. They did. They called timeout. It's hard to sub that corner all the way on the other side.
Yeah, I'm sure he wasn't aware of it. And Derek Dial, they're just giving him a high five as they have this game in the bag.
You know, I've been in games like this on the winning side more often than not, luckily.
Oh, well, you have, haven't you?
I've been on the losing side too, but on the winning side, and you know, we were in a game once at Claremont. We were at Colorado College, who doesn't even have football anymore, and we were up 42-0, you know, into the 4th quarter, and we subbed down, and the game ended up 42-21. You know, because Colorado College kept playing, and you know, our young guys just weren't able. They weren't ready to be in that kind of a game with varsity players yet. And that's kind of what you're – but you know, it's hard as a defensive player. These guys for Redlands were out. And so you go from being out to now you're back in, and you only have 5 yards to defend. You know, that's a challenge. So there's always a question of when do you want to pull those guys? When do you want to leave them in? You know, and when you do pull them, you really hope that your guys that you put in will go out there and at least be able to play and not make it – you know, they're scoring in 2 plays or they're, you know, you don't want to make it easy.
So A.B. Miller is on the doorstep. The big boys are back in for Redlands, their first-team defense, not trying to let this team score. Castaneda takes the hike, hands it off now to Morales. Morales goes forward, nothing going there, maybe a gain of a yard.
I think you got a first down, though.
You got a first down,
yeah,
though, yes.
You only needed 1 for the first.
So now it's 1st and goal. Ball at the 3-yard line. It looks like maybe actually the 2. And this Redlands defense has their work cut out for them in the 4th quarter. Castaneda, once again, waiting for that snap to come. Gets it. Play action. Throws out to Rojas. Rojas can't get it. Good coverage there.
And
by Eddie Wirtz.
Redlands is just playing cover 0. They're not you know, they don't have any safety help. They're just in press man coverage on the outsides.
Vinny, it looks like Eddie Rojas or Christian Rojas, pardon me, is hurt. He's a little bit hobbled, but he's going to stay in the game against Eddie Wirtz.
I like to see Morales get another shot here, see if he can find somewhere to wiggle in.
We'll see what they do. They hand it off to Morales. Morales can't get it going, and the Redlands defense holds strong here.
Yeah, you're into 3rd down now.
Third down.
You know, it's hard. Redlands is loading the box, so it's going to be hard to run it. You know, Morales is a kind of a smaller in stature guy, so you think maybe that he's got a chance to try to squirt through. You know, Miller maybe going to a bigger look. They got some tight ends over here. Can't tell if they're maybe going to put those guys in.
And they're subbing a few players out,
Maybe going to put some of these bigger guys in
their jumbo package,
See if they can add some gaps, you know, maybe get a few more gaps to run the ball in. You know, it's hard to get in when you're in that spread inside the 2-yard line. There's just not that many options. If they're going to make you throw it, then you got to throw it.
Julian Kennedy subbed out, which is kind of surprising. He's their athletic guy. He's their guy that does most of the work, and they sub him out. Castaneda now, Morales in the backfield behind him. And they hand it off to Morales once again. Morales is nowhere to go there on 3rd down. It'll be 4th down. Do you go for it here, or do you just kick the field goal?
Yeah, they're going to go for it. Their field goal PAT game hasn't looked good. I mean, they've been blocked. They've tried it twice and been blocked. And then
and it looks like they're
going to
send the kickers
Here
out.
Here comes the kicker. Shows you what I know.
Well, you're not coaching A.B. Miller, right?
No, I guess not. Shows you what I know. They're going to kick.
So on senior night, not the way these.
They're going to have to do a better job protecting this than they've done. You know, the 2 PATs they've kicked, they've had pressure. They've both been blocked. So, and the pressure's been up the middle. So those middle guys are going to have to step down hard and keep that pressure from coming in.
So the kick will come here. They're hoping to get 3 on the board to make it 47-15 with 3:55 remaining. It's 47-12 right now, but if this kick goes through, they'll be sitting pretty. Looks like Redlands bringing the house. They do. The ball's kicked and another block there. So their kicking game has really let them down so far. A.B. Miller.
Well, all the pressure's up the middle. You know, those guys up the middle really have to step down. You really got to want it in there. You know, it's kind of like a train wreck. They're coming as hard as they can, and you just got to want it. You got to step down and be strong, and it's hard when you got a guy like Barola, you know, who's a full-grown man running through those A-gaps, and so far he's disrupted all 3 kicks.
Don't forget to tune in to Sports Weekly Live tomorrow, the only high school football show in the Inland Empire, every Friday night at 11 p.m. on IMG with Pep Fernandez. Scores and highlights from all around the Inland Empire, 11 to midnight. So we're here at a running clock. Bradford Evans and Vinny Fazio have the call with you. It will be Redlands High School's 3rd win, 47-12 so far.
Yeah, and they got a big one. They got a big one next week. You know, they're gonna Citrus Valley, who started really fast and really well, and has kind of planed off. You know, Carter really got them last week. So we'll see what Citrus Valley's able to do. You know, they're kind of in bounce back mode.
And they bobble the ball there, and the little guy Blair throws a block that they're tackled there. And first positive gain of yardage for this Redlands High School, essentially JV team.
Yeah. A lot of guys getting their first playing time.
But if you saw Jesse Blair threw a block on a guy that was 10 times his size, so
the bigger thing,
way to have heart.
The bigger thing for these guys is they're just getting to play, you know. And these guys probably haven't played much.
You get a varsity letter on the jacket.
So they're getting to play. They're getting some experience. Next year, when some of these guys are your starters, now they can hark back to this and say, you know what, I was in a varsity game. I remember. You know, I remember what that was like. You know, this is what I did, and this is what I didn't do. And it's hard. It's not the same. You know, you can be a dominant JV player, but you get in against these varsity guys that have been playing varsity football all year. It's hard.
Blair handed it off to Joshua Alves for maybe a yard on the play. 141 remaining, 47-12 is the score here on Inland Sports Live Radio. Jesse Blair once again going to take it from the gun. You don't see a lot of teams take it from under center, Vinny, at this level.
I think you should see more.
Jesse Blair actually takes it on the keeper.
Nice run.
Nice run there.
Nice run.
Showing his toughness, too.
You get the first?
But yeah, I don't get that. Why not take it from under center more?
I don't know. I mean, I think the spread offense has become a phenomenon, you know, and I think there's places where that's for the best, and I think there's places where it's not.
Sometimes it can hurt the kid.
Well,
he doesn't know how to take it.
I feel like the spread is made for a very specific kind of a team, and I feel like a lot of teams that are running it are not that kind of team. You know, Corona Centennial is a spread team.
Sure.
You know, Redlands East Valley has a spread team.
Sure.
But I don't feel like everybody does.
And they're on the same play with a different quarterback there, Trent Lewis.
Yeah, and he got the first down, and that'll be it. That'll
be
run
it.
the clock
That
out.
was
We're shaking hands.
32 seconds remaining. This one's over. It ends 47-12 in favor of the Terriers. They have a really big game next week against Citrus Valley. Citrus Valley, not their most hated rival, but a definite crosstown rival.
Well, it's going to be next week. I mean, it's going to be a big game. It's going to be a big, exciting game. Redlands gets one extra day to prepare, you know, because they played tonight. So that, you know, whether or not that's an advantage, but they get one extra day to play to kind of get ready and get themselves ready to go, and they'll have their hands full, you know, with Citrus Valley.
So congratulations to the Redlands Terriers and Coach Derek Dial picking up his 3rd win on the season, as he'll need that as he's heading into hopefully getting a full-time job with this Redlands Terriers team. It ends 47-12. Teams are shaking hands now. It's been a pleasure to be with you. Bradford Evans and Vinny Fazio have been on the call, and we are done for the night. Enjoy your night. Have a good night.